They're designed to relieve, even eliminate the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you. Free arch support. Just drop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neighborhood. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
AHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studio, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
We like the beam! Like the beam, baby!
Sactown Sports. Feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drake on your radio at 11:40 a.m.
Streaming audio at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drake.
Look, that had to be one of the great games in the history of the Golden One Center, right? I know there's reasons to talk about the roller coaster and this and that, but what a great NBA game last night. I can't imagine how much fun you had last night.
It was a blast, man. It was a dream. Pretty much from start to finish, it was a great game. You had guys making great plays. It started off Keegan Murray. It was great to see him start off hot. Paolo Banchero, Jalen Suggs. Like, it was a heavyweight battle. Guys were playing not above what their capabilities are, but above their averages,
Right.
Like Jalen Suggs, good player, solid player. 6 threes, we didn't see that. Paolo Banchero setting a career high 43 last night. Malik Monk, like guys just making individual plays. It was truly amazing. And as high as we are right now, we would have been equally as low had they lost the game. So it made it amazing that our guys were able to get the win.
The Kings had a very solid game plan as far as we can tell. Basically, protect the paint.
Yep.
Orlando's not a good 3-point shooting team, so let them shoot the threes. And what happened?
We followed the game plan to a T.
It comes in, boom, boom. It was me and Frankie and Alan and Chris and Brent were just exchanging stares like, how do those keep going in? So, we know the Kings aren't a great defensive team, but last night, defensively, I think they did a much better job than it looked like they were doing. Orlando made everything.
Yeah, give the Magic credit.
Yes.
They turned into the Splash Brothers when they stepped into the building. Orlando 29th in three-pointers, 29th in three-pointers attempted. They only hit 10 a game.
They should maybe shoot more, huh?
They apparently, Jamal Mosley didn't know he had this kind of shooting on his team. I'm looking at Paolo Banchero, 6 of 9. Jalen Suggs. You mentioned OKK coming off the bench. The dude played 27 minutes. Like, guys were dropping like flies for the Magic. Franz Wagner, Gary Harris. They were injured coming in, so guys were. And yet they played their butts off. This game sort of reminded me of the Clippers win last year, the Utah Jazz win at home last year. Remember when Kevin Huerter hit that big shot? That was one of those, you know what? The team you face, Orlando, gave it their all.
Yeah.
They played a hell of a game, but Sacramento just made play after play at the end and got it done.
It looked, of course, like the Kings were going to salt it away. They had a, 14, 15-point lead.
Yeah.
Or I think it maybe got
16.
up to 16.
16 was the biggest lead. Yep.
Orlando came back, and then it seemed like the last 6 minutes were they were trading punches. Sometimes you get that in the last couple minutes of a game. It was half of the fourth quarter was just boom, 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 boom. And, of course, just an absolutely tremendous finish. If you're Orlando and you say, hey, we're going to shoot, 57% from three-point line, and Fox is going to have a really off shooting night, you figure you're going to win that game,
You're going to win the game. Exactly. And to your point earlier about the game plan, the scouting report, Orlando, which is a great points in the paint team, 24 points in the paint. They scored 135 points, but only 24 of them are in the paint. That is unheard of in the NBA, and they almost was able to win it. So the Kings followed the game plan to a T. Orlando was just on fire. It wasn't like the Magic were hitting wide open threes. A lot of those were contested threes, and for Sacramento to get that win, not only when the team shoots 20, makes 25 threes, but also your best player, De'Aaron Fox, basically is reduced to a role player in that game. That's a huge win last night.
I don't remember the last time we've seen that where at the end of a close game, De'Aaron Fox is on the floor and they're going through somebody else.
Yeah.
And I understand. It was like, that was the right move. but I don't ever recall that happening.
I don't, and you said it when he was on the floor. The Lakers game, he was hurt, was on the bench. You got to run it through Malik. And last night, and Katie said it on the broadcast as well, end of regulation. All right, Katie, what do you do? Who do you go to? She's like, I go to Malik Monk. End of regulation. Overtime, Malik Monk. Like, you put the ball, it was one of those nights for Malik. And we've seen Malik be a capable ball handler, decision maker, but that's usually with Fox on the bench. Like, your all-NBA guard is out there, didn't have it going, and Mike Brown, and kudos to De'Aaron Fox, too.
Yep.
Like, he said, all right, let's let Malik run it, and it worked out.
And one of the things that we've wanted to see from the Kings, and I know, they're up and down, and we get down when they're not playing well, but one of the things we say when they don't play well is, boy, I'd like to see them with a little more fight. Well, they had a lot of that last night. Am I right? That was nice to see.
Yeah, they had, and that's why I say it was like that Clippers game, because in that Clippers game last year, they had to fight back at the end in each quarter, in the fourth quarter, first overtime, second overtime. It looked like Orlando was going to win this game at the end of regulation. They were hitting all their threes. Like, they were knocking everything down. And yet the Kings kept fighting. And that's what we need to see. I know the numbers will indicate, they gave up 135. Orlando shot 49, 57% from three. But the compete level was there for Sacramento last night. And sometimes you just got to tip your cap to another team. Like, you know what? Hell of a game. Y'all hit everything. We played great defense. You just made shots. And I thought that's what it was last night. The Kings played well defensively, I thought.
Both teams really brought it, considering they were both playing the second night back-to-back.
And I was wondering when that would show itself. And I don't think it did.
I thought a little bit late, just like Paolo losing the ball, and you could just see guys were – just physically, it's
Gassed
like my body doesn't normally do that,
And maybe the sloppy play from the Kings a little bit late in the game. But for the most part, those guys were delivering haymakers. And I'm looking at the box score. Yeah, I look at it from time to time. You rarely see, like, usually, when they list the box score, it's like 240 minutes combined for a total game. 290 minutes. Like, that's unheard of in terms of five guys on the floor and how it all balances out. This was a marathon last night. It ended at 10-something, something like that. It was crazy, man. And give that Golden One Center crowd a standing ovation. Like, they were on their feet. They were into it. And, I think they brought life into our team in the second half. And they were just on edge. Like, give us something to cheer for. Give us a reason to stand up. And the Kings did last night.
Yeah, to your point about fatigue, you're right. I mean, we never saw anybody look like they were tired. Everybody gave it everything they had. It's just to my eye, towards the end of the game, you could see how their bodies were failing them, but nobody was like, tapping out or anything.
No, everybody was, they were ready for it, especially Malik. Domas had a monster game. I thought Keegan was tremendous. He even made some plays late. I thought his rebounding was huge. I thought late in that game. And, Sacramento, we needed this one.
Yeah,
we needed this one. On Mental Health Day at the arena last night, we needed a good mental health day, and our boys gave it to us.
And one of the reasons I'm so glad the Kings won is that if they hadn't, that a lot of today would be spent talking about how did they say that ball was off the Kings when Paolo Banchero threw it out of bounds. And the thing is, if you're an official, there are tells there. Paolo at no point looked at the official and said, hey, he hit it, or review it. He just like,
he knew. He knew.
How did they reverse that?
Claire Aubrey, who is the official, she signals Sacramento. And I'm like, yes, it's our ball. And then they come over talking, and it's like, what? They nearly stole one from us last night. And, somebody on the text line right now, 916-339-1140, is there a reason that the refs didn't take a look at that out of bounds play on Banchero? When Banchero lost the ball out of bounds, you would think if you were unsure, you'd take a look at it. My only guess is whoever the ref was that said, Orlando Ball was 100% sure, but clearly he was 100% wrong, and I wish there was a trigger to take a look at something like that instead of somebody overruling. Nope, I saw it when really you didn't see it.
Right. Yeah. I wonder now what the rules are specifically. If nobody had a challenge, are the officials allowed, as they were a few years ago?
Right. They may have changed that. I feel like over the last year or two, that's been changed,
Yeah.
But in the effort of getting the call right, I would like that added back in. Like, I'm unsure about what happened. Let me go take a look at it.
How could you get it right initially, called it so obvious, and then overturn it? So anyway, I'm glad that we don't have to spend a lot of time talking about that today. And you know who else we got to talk about today in a positive light? He made one of the shots of the game for the Kings. Shot clock winding down. 1-footed three. Banks it in. Harrison Barnes.
I'm not even going to mention Harrison Barnes.
Jay's shaking his head.
Jay, because you haters out there, don't tell me.
Now the 4-leaf clover. Let's be real now. Come on,
Jay,
baby.
But all right, let's say that one shot.
Shouts out to him.
But he had 14 points other than that.
I'm just saying I'm speaking on that shot. I can't say he had a rabbit foot in the pocket.
He had the presence of mind to take
just saying that shot.
Yeah, it's like, well, shot clock's winding down. I got to get it up there. That's all we got.
Hey,
good.
The box score doesn't have pictures. It shows that
he had them trick dice.
It shows that he had 4 3-pointers last night, none bigger than the bank. And I said it. He's not always there answering when you call, but he's always on time. HB, I understand people are up and down with the guy, but he delivered last night, Jay. He delivered last night, Sacramento Kings fans. Can we hype my boy up just once?
17 points on 9 shots.
Yes.
On 9 shots.
Come on, man.
Yeah. All right. Drapes Take, special edition, coming right up. We're right back with that here. To Drive Guys, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We're basking in the afterglow of an unbelievable Kings win with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Granger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin, ultra soft on the potty. Let's just so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. The cream is always soft. It's our party vibe. Every booty wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with
Afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
I don't believe my eyes. Looking here at the chat, YouTube chat, thanks for being with us today. We're getting a lot of love for Harrison Barnes?
What? Let me take a look. What's going on?
A little bit. Scooter916 says, HB had a great game last night. He went up with that, and I said, no,
Yeah. Hey, show some love to Harry. If you're going to give him hate when he struggles, you got to give him praise, give him his flowers when he plays well, and he was huge last night.
He really
for Sacramento. Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's nice to see when De'Aaron Fox struggled as much as he did, to see other guys come through. And then, of course, Sabonis is like, it's like you almost don't even notice. It's like, yeah, of course, 2010, yeah, okay.
Unbelievable.
Third King center ever to do that since I moved to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he does, right? And he even said that. That's my job.
That's my job.
Yeah.
That's my game right there.
Yeah.
22 points, 23 rebounds, 12 assists, 45 minutes, playing defense. Sure, he had the 6 turnovers, but, we talked earlier about the effort, compete level. That's never a question with this guy. I mean, and on the second night of a back-to-back, he laid it all out on the line, and he's going to be another all-star campaign. We talked at the beginning of the season, pencil him in for 19, 12, and 7. He's actually having a better season this year than he did last year, and that was an amazing season. He's even better this year, Wade.
I know that surprised me. I noticed that early on this year. I thought that maybe he's found another gear. I didn't think he'd be any better this year, but I think there's a chance he's going to put up actually better numbers. Long ways to go, and obviously that takes a toll the way he plays, but that would be staggering if he improved on the numbers he put up last year.
And, I go back to where Sacramento is now. It doesn't happen without Domantas Sabonis here. if I'm a Kings fan, I'm proud to have this guy on my team because you know he's going to bring his hard hat. You know he's going to work the full 48 minutes or 40 minutes, whatever minutes he plays. He's not going to take possessions off or take plays off. And his desire to win is on full display as well. I mean, a lot of times on those rebounds and putbacks and inside, he's double and triple team. He's got 2 or 3 guys around him, and he's still fighting in there. And that was great to see last night.
Well, it's time now for a day after a double overtime win edition of Drapes Takes.
Calm down, Lion. Calm down. Take it easy, man. Just take it easy.
Still looking for a sponsor. I'm going to just start off like that. Drapes Takes, we still looking for a sponsor. But let me start off right here, Whitey. I got to give love to my guy, Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray was fantastic last night on both ends of the floor, rebounding on the inside, playing defense. He was truly amazing. And the best thing about Keegan Murray's game last night, when you look at it, he only took 6 3-pointers. He took 21 shots, 15 of those 2-pointers. That's what we need to see from young Keegan Murray, who had 28 points and also 12 rebounds. I need to see the variety in his game. He had some runners, he had some floaters, he had some dunks, he had some threes. He's a 3-level player, and I need to see that night in and night out.
He heard you and the High Flyer talking about him yesterday. He did the things that you and the High Flyer were saying you needed to see more often from
Yes, and it's not only the way he shot the ball and where he shot from. He took 21 shots. And nobody's batting an eye. Nobody's saying, oh, why is Keegan out there gunning like that? Why is he, being a ball hog? No, that's what we need to see from Keegan Murray night in and night out. And I understand it was a double overtime game, some more shots. But really, when you look at this roster, he should be second every night, at least second every night in field goal attempts.
I like the Kings when they're not quite as Fox dominant.
Yeah.
That's not a shot at Fox because he's great, but I like it when the shot selection is more like it was last night.
Exactly.
Shot
So
distribution.
shout out to Keegan Murray, monster game, 45 minutes. I'm also going to give some love to my guy, Trey Lyles. Everybody will look at Trey Lyles. Oh, he had 10 points, but no. He took 3 charges in that game, got the defensive player of the game. And so when you talk about defense, it's not always about locking somebody down. It's about making momentum plays on defense. And I thought his charges last night, the ones he took, all 3 on Paolo Banchero, if I can say, those were momentum-changing plays. And as I'm watching that game, Whitey, and I'm sure you saw it also, when a guy takes a charge like that, that energizes the team. That galvanizes the team. And sometimes you need that. You need that energy and the feed off of it. And I thought Trey Lyles was fantastic last night.
Just a reminder, hey, I'm in. We're all in on this. And don't shortchange him on his offense last night, knocking down a couple of big threes.
Yeah, he had some big shots and, 4 of 6 from the field, 10 points. I thought he was – and he played with a little bit of nastiness, too, out there. And I love that from Trey. And my third and final Drapes take, everybody talks about Malik Monk. We're going to talk about Malik Monk for the next 3 hours. So I'm not going to have him in Drapes Take. He deserves his own special section. I want to give some love to the team overall because you pointed it out. On a night when De'Aaron Fox is 6 of 22, on a night when De'Aaron Fox, went a quarter and a half without scoring. Like, he went the entire third, I believe, without a bucket. His last bucket came in the second quarter, and then in the fourth, he hit some shots down the stretch. And on those kind of nights in the past, we would have lost. To your point, we don't have to be always De'Aaron Fox dominant. This team should be good enough where we can survive an off night from De'Aaron Fox. And the fact that Malik played well, Keegan, Domas, there's enough talent on this team for other guys to step up. I think that was a huge statement made last night by Sacramento.
I think in a lot of ways, this team is harder to guard, harder to defend when everybody's chipping in a little bit more.
Yeah, and you know what? We could tell early on that Fox was off a little bit. Like, the energy wasn't there. He didn't hit a 3-pointer. I can't remember the last time that's happened for him in the game. 0 of 5 from 3. He just didn't have it last night, and somehow they were able to figure it out. And I mentioned it earlier in the crossover. Kudos to him for stepping to the side and saying, you know what, I'm okay with Malik.
That's leadership.
Running it. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't always have to be in De'Aaron Fox's hands down the stretch. And so I thought this was a huge growth moment for Sacramento last night.
Can I say something about Malik? I know you said we're going to talk more about him.
Well, whatever you want to say, it's not part of Drape's take, so you can say whatever you want. Yeah.
All right. I was just going to point out the cool thing about him, he's so honest after the game when he's asked about, hey, you guys played well, even though Fox didn't. And a lot of NBA players and athletes, you ask them a question and they'll kind of think about it. And Malik does. He just tells you, he goes, well, he can't be an all-star every night. Right. So that's, we got other guys on the team.
Right.
And when you ask about all the big moments and he says, well, that's what you live for. I mean, he just is, he shows you exactly what he's feeling and he plays that way too.
Yeah. And you're right about that. And Mike Brown talked about it as well. With Malik, he's always going to be Malik. He's not going to hide or cower or, zip up his lip, and credit to him for having his boys back like that too last night. It sort of reminds me, De'Aaron Fox is at that level where even if he is struggling, I still think sort of like Tatum did in the Sixers in the playoffs last year. Tatum was awful for 3 quarters, but he got hot at the end. De'Aaron Fox is at that level. So I still want De'Aaron Fox to shoot. I still want him to be aggressive, even though it might not be his night. But isn't it a luxury to not have to be that one guy every single night? He can do it, yes. But, like the other night, Jokic scored 13 points and the Nuggets still got the win.
Sure.
Like that's a balanced team. That's what you want. You don't want to have to rely on De'Aaron Fox, especially at his size, his body frame. It's a lot of wear and tear throughout the season. He shouldn't have to be Superman every single night for this team.
A couple of anxious moments, of course, when Black took him out, got called for the flagrant one. First, Malik hits the floor. We're not sure, is he okay? And then he went into the Orlando huddle. And you guys doing the TV, you probably saw this better than I did. I didn't realize till I saw the replay today. It looked to me like when he went into the huddle, he was telling the youngster Black, hey, wrap me up if you're going to do that. He wasn't like, what are you doing? He's like, hey, if you're going to do that, wrap me up.
Yeah, that was a scary play right there. Undercut him like that. And there was no ill will and ill intent. Right. It was just, he's trying to make a play. But Anthony Black, that's something you'll learn. You would think.
He's good.
He is good, right? Yeah, he is. Orlando has some pieces. Think about it, though. Let's give Orlando some credit right here. No Franz. You didn't have Markelle Fultz. You didn't have Cole Anthony. No Joe Ingles.
Right.
Like, you're talking 4 or 5 of their top 7 or 8 guys. And, Jamal Mosley puts in Okeke. He comes in and has a good game. Some of these other guys like Caleb Houston. Like, no offense, I wasn't very familiar with Caleb Houston. He came in and dropped 15 points. Trevelin Queen getting 38 minutes in this game, and they gave Sacramento all they could handle. The NBA is fantastic, man. It made me proud to be an NBA fan last night because that was one for the ages. The crowd was on point. The players were on point. The level of competition was on point. Like, it felt like a playoff kind of atmosphere in early January, and I love that.
Well, that's your preview of your 2026 NBA Finals, right?
Hey, bring it on, right? Let's run it back, right? That would be sweet. That would be nice.
Because Orlando wants to be this year's version of the Kings,
right? Yes. And that was amazing last night. And I will just say, and end it on this for now, thankfully, we won that game, Whitey.
Oh, I know.
Today would have been miserable.
I know.
We would have walked in here. The phones would have been lit up, and they're still lit. I see a lot of callers on there. We'll get to you guys here shortly. But the vibe and feeling, this is that roller coaster that we were talking about yesterday, man. You were saying, I don't know about this team. I forgot how you phrased it, but do you feel a little better now?
I just feel like I'm more accepting of.
So
I don't know
where I was yesterday, then, right?
But like last night was great, and the rest of it I don't care about right now. Well, what are they going to do about a trade, defense? After last night, I don't care. I'll worry about that next game if I have to. But right now, that was awesome. That was one of the most fun nights of watching basketball I've ever had.
Yes, and Malik Monk came to the rescue. Domas came. Like, everybody at some point made a contribution.
Yeah.
How about my guy JaVale McGee getting some burn too? Like,
was it Will yesterday calling today? Why don't they play
right?
JaVale McGee?
Hey, Mike Brown must have been listening to the show. He's a friend of the show. I'm sure he listens.
Yeah.
And JaVale gets the nod over Alex Lynn. I need to ask Mike about that, though. When I see him on Friday, I'm going to be like, Mike, just explain why you went with – like, because JaVale was out of the rotation, and now he's back in. I got to figure out exactly what Mike was thinking there.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We appreciate your patience. We want to talk to you. We do have a guest coming up. We'll take a look at what's going on here in the trade discussions. Jake Fisher's going to join us from Yahoo. He's also written one of the 6 books that I've actually read. Built to Lose, How the NBA's Tanking Era Changed the League Forever. So what's up with the Kings and the deadline as it rapidly approaches? We'll find out when Jake Fisher joins us next, the day after a great Kings win with the Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can step, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can step, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Start learning a new language today at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of thousands of customers every single day. Learn how you can leverage their reach for your business. Text digital to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text digital to 916-766-5105.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back, January 18th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Bring the family and discover your next adventure. Buy the latest gear, find the best destinations, learn from the experts in fishing and hunting. On the weekend, visit the Giant Youth Fair, free entry for youth 15 and under. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITBfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Buddy Gleason and Kyle Draper. Kyle, that had to be, of all the games you've done, that had to be one of the more memorable, I would think. I mean, any double overtime game.
Yeah,
So
I think so. For sure this season. I did that overtime one in Orlando when De'Aaron Fox hit the game winner.
Yeah.
That's right up there as well. And, as I was doing that game last night, I was like, here we go again, right?
Yeah.
These two teams. And so that was tremendous, man. And afterwards, like, I felt it physically, like, exhausted. Voice was, cracking and everything. I was like, man, I left it all out on the floor, too. People at home didn't see Whitey. I think it was the Keegan dunk or something. It was a play late in the game, actually. I got so excited. I stood up and then sat back down, and I broke the leg on the chair.
Uh-oh.
So I'm trying to call the game. The chair is leaning to the side and everything. Exactly. I had 3 legs, and I'm still trying to work and call the game. Fortunately, Alan, the stats guy, grabbed my chair from underneath me, gave me his chair, and we kept it going. It was that kind of game, man, where if you're breaking chairs, it's a good game.
Yeah, well, does a win like that change the Kings' thinking at all when it comes to the deadline? What is their thinking here? And what is the deadline looking like? Who's available? Let's find out. Nice enough to join us, senior NBA reporter at Yahoo, Jake Fisher. He's also written a book, which I've read, and if you're an NBA fan, I can definitely recommend, Built to Lose, How the NBA's Tanking Era Changed the League Forever. Jake, welcome to the show. Of all the names we're hearing of players who could be available, which ones are really the most likely to be going somewhere before the deadline?
Thanks for having me, first of all, guys. I think, I'm working on a story right now, typing away at my desk before you guys called for my next notebook at Yahoo. And I think most of the conversation after Toronto traded OG Anunoby to New York this week has been really centered around the next big, player in Toronto and Pascal Siakam. And a lot of attention is being paid now to Atlanta as well with DeJounte Murray, where he's really been, I think, at the center of a lot of these exploratory preliminary conversations right now. I mean, the Hawks, one executive told me earlier today, are one of the most aggressive, forthcoming, all right, we would do this right now on the phone teams around the league. And it's just going to be a matter of seeing what kind of comes together in the next month or so before February 8th.
Jake Fisher, Yahoo Sports, joining us. Jake, I know you wrote or there's a video transcript of you a couple of weeks ago talking about NBA trade candidates to watch. And one person you mentioned was Lauri Markkanen. I always maintain that I just don't get why they would move on from him. What's the latest on Lauri, and what are you hearing about that?
It's a great question. I did not mention him in the first answer because after his name was all over the place before December 15th, that window where most players who sign contracts this summer have now been able to be available to be moved. And ever since then, I mean, the word got pretty loud and was definitely communicated by Utah to other teams that their asking price for him would be something in the same stratosphere of what Rudy Gobert went to Minnesota and Donovan Mitchell to Cleveland, which brought Lauri Markkanen back, 5 first-round pick type stuff. So, look, there's still the possibility that Oklahoma City or some team that is loaded with draft capital just decides to say, screw it. He's our guy. Let's go get him. But right now, he wants to be there. He's told Utah that he wants to be there. There's definitely the possibility he could both renegotiate and extend his contract during the season after the trade deadline. If the Jazz are able to make other moves and open up some cap space, he could just sign an extension after next season once he becomes eligible for an even higher portion of the cap. But right now, people are just kind of expecting Lauri Markkanen to hang pat with the Jazz, and that the Jazz do want to keep him.
We're talking trades with Jake Fisher, senior NBA reporter at Yahoo. Given what we know about what it's going to take to get a big-name player from his current team, given what we know about the Kings and what they have available in terms of assets, do you think the Kings have a realistic shot at an upgrade of any significance if that's what they decide to pursue?
Yeah, I think the Kings have a lot of different options on their table to get a little bit better. Harrison Barnes' name is definitely one that's come up, I think, in every single trade window dating back to when Sacramento first acquired him. There was a while there where he was kind of like a chip that the Kings were kind of throwing out there for, to be a seller. But right now, like I remember a couple of years ago, there was talk about, could they get 2 first-round picks from Boston to get him? I forget which season exactly that was. Right now, it sounds like he'd be more of a piece that they would go use to buy, like to try to see if they could upgrade. And they gave him this big 4-year, $80+ million deal this summer, but his shooting has definitely fallen off. I think the continued emergence of Keegan Murray allows them to maybe look at options there.
Jake, one of the things that I'm trying to figure out regarding the Kings is what exactly are they looking for? What exactly do they need? We've talked with fans out here on our show. They throw up a big name, Levine, Siakam, but then I have a thought, well, they're hoping Keegan Murray takes that lead. Any idea what the Kings would be looking for out there on the open market?
Yeah, they were described to me as one of the teams most aggressive and active in trying to get OG Anunoby. I think Indiana was the proverbial number 2 that finished behind New York, and Sacramento, I think, was right there. I think there's still a team that's being considered for Pascal Siakam right now. The Levine stuff, to me, I'm crediting that more to Monte McNair being someone who's come from the Daryl Morey tree in Houston, where anytime a star player becomes available, you make the call and you put your head in and kind of keep yourself at least involved, thinking, what opportunity might present itself? How can we even get involved in something on the margins if it becomes a 2 or 3 team deal? And I think that's a situation that Levine and his representation in Clutch Sports looked at and circled and liked, because, they have a pretty good situation there with De'Aaron Fox already running the show. So I think that was more of an exploratory thing than anything else, but they do seem to be pretty attached to names of front court players, guys who would in theory fill Harrison Barnes' spot, the Pascals, the OGs. I don't really see a ton of other players like that right now on the board, but one to keep an eye on could be someone like Jeremy Grant in Portland.
Jake Fisher with us from Yahoo. Jake, in your mind, which team or teams need to make a move this year before the deadline, or which teams feel they're in position where, and you mentioned a few already, which teams feel like we have to do something now? Indiana seems to maybe be one of those teams.
Indiana, definitely. Although they have this top 10 pick in Jarris Walker out of Houston, who kind of the talk of the G League showcase when I was down there in Orlando, who just isn't playing at all. It's kind of similar to Keegan Murray, although Keegan's obviously in the starting lineup and he's putting up 40 points almost every night now, obviously hyperbole. But just young combo forward that in theory is the bookend of, a starting lineup that they already have. The Pacers have Tyrese Haliburton and Miles Turner, similar to how Sacramento has De'Aaron Fox and Domas. So it's a little curious to me why the Pacers are being so aggressive and looking at foremen, especially after acquiring Obi Toppin this summer too. But they just continue to be linked to every power forward, from OG and Pascal to Tobias Harris in Philadelphia. I mean, I'm sure they've had internal talks about Harrison Barnes, just because it seems like Sacramento really is doing a decent job of calling around on him. So the Pacers do seem pretty set on making some type of move, especially because they've got 15 guys basically, and they could perhaps benefit from some type of consolidation trade.
Yeah, Jake Fisher joining us, Yahoo Sports. Jake, I'm hearing all the rumblings out of L.A. about Darvin Ham and his future. And, obviously they're underachieving so far this year. How active do you think the Lakers will be? And might a player like Rui Hachimura be able to be picked off or something like that for Sacramento?
I think so, but I think he's going to be more of an outgoing piece for the Lakers, for someone that they think is really upgrading their team and making them closer to a championship team. I don't know if the Kings really have a player like that they're willing to give up right now. I think when it comes to the Lakers, Rui plus D'Angelo Russell plus a first-round pick is pretty much the best outgoing deal from a salary standpoint, from a young player standpoint with theoretical untapped potential that they're going to be able to put out there. But I am skeptical that they're going to be able to get anyone of real consequence without putting Austin Reeves on the table. That's kind of been the impression that I've gotten from talking to people from other front offices. So they're going to have to hope that Chicago, when the buzzer's coming up on February 8th, they don't really have much out there, and that offers enough to get Zach LaVine. But when I asked, DeJounte Murray's another clutch client. When I asked Atlanta, one person there yesterday, what the viability of DeJounte to LA was. He said to me, well, I would need Austin Reeves back. And that's something that the Lakers right now have shown no interest in doing.
Right. All right. Jake Fisher from Yahoo. Before we let you go, Jake, just want to clarify here for the benefit of Kings fans. If we understood you right, I think you said you believe the Kings could be in still on Siakam, could be.
Yeah.
And if that's true, how many other teams do you think are actively in talks for Siakam right now as we speak?
Active, not so sure, because it does seem like a ton of teams are still kind of holding their cards. But Indiana, Sacramento, Detroit are three teams that I would definitely keep an eye on for him.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah. Again, the book, Built to Lose, How the NBA's Tanking Era Changed the League Forever. I've read it. I can recommend it. Jake Fisher. Thanks for your time, Jake. We appreciate it. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, Jake. Thanks.
How about that? Pascal Siakam.
Right. We've been talking about some B-level, C-level guys, and it sounds like Monty might be interested in trying to swing for the fences.
Yeah.
How do we feel about that?
Yeah. You buying that they were maybe in on Anunoby?
Yeah, I think so. I think. But, the problem, we've talked about it. If I'm Toronto, the first guy I want is Keegan Murray.
Right.
Look at what they got.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett and Quickly, two young players. That's clearly what they wanted back in return.
Mm-hmm. We will get to the phones when we come back. Thank you for your patience. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Again, basking in the afterglow of that incredible win. And as Kyle mentioned to our guest here, it is a glorious time to be a Laker hater. That's next year with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton & Price in your corner. When you call Ashton & Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real-life person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
The new year is upon us with promises of new beginnings and new adventures, but don't let 2023 slip away without savoring the memories of all you enjoyed with family and friends. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Of course, looking forward with anticipation is exciting, but I have a lot to appreciate in this past year, and much of that revolves around time with family and more good time spent around my Naturewood dining table. Watching my grandson get messy with his birthday cake is priceless, and it reminds me that new life is the perfect balance between yesterday and today. Greet the new year with a visit to Naturewood Home Furnishings. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's New Year sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
That's the game. That's the game. That's why you want to play basketball, man, to be in moments like this. Game tied up, overtime. What you gonna do? I live for these moments.
And I mean, your teammates encourage you to be that guy anyway. Do you see them encourage you even more so when you're having a game like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. They always get the ball. I'm not gonna shoot it every time. I'm gonna make the right play most of the time. Besides those terrible turnovers I had at the end in transition, but yeah, man, they feed a lot of positivity into me.
Malik Monk. See, you ask him a question, and he just says exactly what he's thinking.
Yes,
as soon as you ask him.
A leader on the team. Yes.
Yeah. He lives for games like that. And I think as fans, those are the types of games that we live for, really, right?
Right, exactly. This will be one of those games where we talk about like the Clippers last year. Utah, like, where were you? You know, you remember that game Malik went for 37 and 9, exactly. And Paolo had his career high. Like, that was a great NBA basketball game. Not a great regular season game. It was just overall a great NBA basketball game.
I knew the Kings were in trouble. I knew it was going to be a long night because as we talked yesterday and we've said already today, Orlando's not a good three-point shooting team. And Franz Wagner, who I'm a big fan of, he's shooting 28% or something. He made a three in the first 5 minutes, obviously.
With that corner one, I think it was.
And I turned to Chris Watkins. I said, it could be a long night if he's making threes. And then, Orlando just piled up the threes. And Paolo's threes look good.
They look good, yes. That one he had late, I forget, was it overtime? Or I think it might have been overtime. Like, the arc he got on it was well defended, too. Like, it was I mean, he is a stud, and he's only 21 years old. And I turned to Katie before the game. I said, we're going to have trouble with this guy. Like, who's going to guard him?
Right.
Like, it didn't matter. Like, we played good defense, and he still dropped 43.
Yeah.
He was amazing last night.
And, it's kind of an ongoing joke, gallows humor for Kings fans. This goes way, 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 way back. A visiting team comes in here, and there's some guy you've never heard of, and he goes off. And before the game, I was trying to think who it would be, and I I guess you could say, Chuma kind of did that a little bit last night.
Yeah.
With a 3C man. I didn't guess that he would do that. And then,
Caleb Houston.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
15
points, off the bench. He was massive for them. 31 minutes played. And they got a fun team, man. They got they're building something there in Orlando.
Yeah, I do. Was it the second overtime when Goga Tadzi shot a corner three? And I was like, I think the Kings got this.
Right. Now that would have went in. I said, lights out. It's a wrap. We're done.
Right.
We're done. Yes.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Tin joins us here on Sactown Sports. Tin, what'd you make of the Kings win last night?
I got something else to tell you, Whitey.
Oh, he got something else.
Okay.
He's pivoting. What you got, Tin?
Kyle, Jay. Hey, so my observation, I saw the highlight in Kevin Huerter, that play where you had the, like the little swipe away, and he could have had a little breakaway dunk, but he had a guy trailing him.
Yeah.
Now, I seen Malik behind him, right? And a lot of people like, man, why you just do it behind the back? But really, I think he made a smart business decision. Now, there was a defender right behind Malik. Now, he could have saved Malik from getting hurt. He could have saved the opposing Orlando Magic from, because the over the back foul and they're jumping and landing on the hardwood, crack head on the floor. You don't want none of that. I feel like I was really impressed that he passed up the assist and he went up for it. I don't care if you got swatted, man. At the end of that, the whole sequence, nobody was hurt, and that's what was important, man. Props to Kevin Huerter for that play.
Thanks,
Tin. How much does Kevin Huerter owe you for that? What you, his agent or something?
Wow.
What is that?
Hey, no, you know what? Am I still on?
Yeah, yes, you are, unfortunately. No offense, Tin.
But the shot clock is winding down.
Go ahead. You got 5 seconds, Tin.
Okay, that's good awareness on him, too.
Yeah.
All right. I got
Thank
you,
you.
Ted. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know if you saw this in the YouTube chat, Whitey. I'd have to go back because he's been on hold for a while.
Yeah.
And he said epic call on line 1 or something like that. Like he was holding and he put in the YouTube chat, epic, something like that. And so,
can you do that? Can you tout your own call when you're
right?
on hold?
That's but he's a loyal listener, so I'm gonna cut him some slack, give him some grace, right? Just let him
know about that.
Ted, call back again next time, man.
Yeah,
another day.
You call back, but you don't need to tout your own call.
Right.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't see that he'd done that. Let's see. Emmy. Oh, Emmy's a big, Sasha fan.
Yes. What's
Emmy,
up?
how are you doing? How you holding up?
Hey guys, first of all, I want to wish you all a happy New Year, and wish you all plenty of health and happiness. I am obviously very, very sad and mad at Coach Brown for not playing and giving 2 or 3 straight not DNPs. What does Sasha have to do to get more minutes? He played pretty good, to my understanding, because I didn't watch the New Year's Eve game. He played, I think, 4 minutes or so, and he scored 2 points.
Okay.
And then after that, two DNPs.
Yeah.
What does he need to do to make improvement?
Yeah. Good
I know
question.
it's his first season, but come on. Play him.
Emmy has had it.
She's she's a huge Sasha fan. We understand it. But Mike Brown addressed this pregame yesterday. He was asked about, and basically he said players need to take advantage of the opportunity that's given. When you get your chance, stand apart from everybody else. And I tell you what, Sasha, as much as we like him, we see the potential, great career overseas. If he's not making shots, same thing with Kevin Huerter. Huerter's out of the rotation to an extent. Huerter's minutes have been cut. Sasha needs to make shots. That's how he's going to get back in the rotation.
So he's got to be ready.
Yep.
He's also, I'm sure that they're not thrilled with his defense, but that's, it's a learning curve for a first-year player in the NBA.
Yep.
One of these games, Emmy, as you probably know, he's going to come in. Maybe it's garbage time. Maybe it's not. He's going to have to knock down 2 or 3 threes, and then from there, just continue to shoot the ball well, right? Because the Kings, with what the Kings are trying to accomplish this year, they don't have the luxury of, let's give this guy a chance to kind of figure his way through the league.
Yeah, especially in the Western Conference when it's so tough out there. And Sasha, the shooting numbers aren't terrible, but it's been feast or famine as of late. And I'm looking at his numbers right here. Last game he played, it was only 3 and change. 1 of 2 from the field, 0 threes attempted. Against Portland in that loss, 0 for 3, 0 for 1 in the game. Like, he just needs to have more of an impact on the game when he comes in.
I'm just asking a question. I don't even know if it's viable. Is he a guy that, if this continued for the foreseeable, would he benefit from playing in Stockton?
Nah. He's
I don't
28.
Think
that would almost be
kind of
disrespectful. A 28-year-old EuroLeague MVP, send him to the G League. He'll come back again. Mike Brown will give him another shot.
All right, Mitch here on Sactown Sports, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Hello, Mitch.
Hey, Happy New Year, guys.
What's up, Mitch? Good, what's happening?
Yeah, I've been on for a while, so I kind of got to check out what I originally wanted to say. They got 3 guys. Can they keep Monk in the starting lineup?
You said Monk in the starting lineup?
Team,
okay.
He's probably the most talented guy. And start Lyles with Harrison Barnes, which you never know what you get with him. But you got to make him say 2 teams that have a flux of guards there. Maybe that's not the right word. They have too many guards. Portland and Orlando. I mean, they drafted Suggs and Anthony's kid, I think Cole Anthony.
Right, yeah.
I know he's hurt. He must be hurt again. He's hurt like every year, but maybe it changes scenery. And same thing with Portland. I don't know why they keep drafting guards and not happy with it. And they just got rid of Damon. I mean, they got a good deal for him, but I think we're one trade away from having a consistent team. And I think Keegan could be the 3rd superstar.
Thank you.
All right, Mitch.
Thank you, Mitch. A lot of people, and I
Appreciate
think we talked about it yesterday, a lot of people are wondering, hey, Trey Lyles, why doesn't Trey Lyles start? The Monk thing, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. The Monk thing, he's not going to start.
It's not going to happen. It's I was talking to somebody earlier about this. Monk is perfect where he's at.
Right.
And how many times do you hear coaches, players, it's not who starts, it's who's finished. Malik Monk last night, 46 minutes.
Right.
A team high 46 at that. And so just because he doesn't hear his name called, in the introduction start, he came in early too. Chris Huerter picked up 2 quick fouls, and Malik Monk came in at 9. And what Malik Monk gives you, nobody else on the team does. So you put him in the starting lineup. Now who's that game changer coming off the bench? You don't have that.
Yeah.
Malik's fine where he is.
He's uniquely qualified to bring you the things that you want from your quote unquote 6th man.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I just got made aware the 2-minute report is out, Whitey, from last night, and it's lengthy. There's a lot to unpack here. Can we get to that next segment as well?
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, what the league says they got right and what they said they got wrong.
All right, and we can enjoy it because it doesn't matter, right? Because the Kings won.
We won,
Thank
right?
goodness.
Exactly.
All right, that's next year with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, get a free T-check and free exam. Book your appointment today at Revive Sacramento. We know we can help you. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Woo! All right. We're against the better advice of those who advised us. We're looking at the 2-minute report here from last night, which, again, we can do and we can maybe even enjoy it, relax a little bit because, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, double overtime game, it is the lengthiest 2-minute report I think I've ever seen.
Dude, it's pages on top of pages. I tried to look at it on my phone, and I just kept scrolling and scrolling. Had to pull up the laptop to try and decipher everything. There's a lot of correct calls and a correct non-calls on here. But there are a few calls that the officials got wrong that the NBA is admitting today.
Can I tell you the first call I went to was first overtime, 8.7 left, offensive foul on Paulo, one of the charges that Trey Lyles took.
Yep.
And the league is saying that was an incorrect call.
Yeah, it says after releasing the shot, Banchero's left hand comes down onto Lyles' body and marginal contact occurs after Lyles' legal contest.
See, some are suggesting perhaps that the reason that call went in favor of Orlando when clearly the Kings didn't touch the balls because the officials
making up for that, a little makeup call for that. They wouldn't do such a thing, would they?
They just did. That's the only explanation.
No, you're right. I actually, now that I'm not on the broadcast and I could just be, I thought that was a questionable call. Like I thought, yeah, he did use the hand and everything, but the 2-minute report is saying he had already released the ball. I thought Trey might have even been moving just a little bit. Yeah, exactly. And so that was a call we benefited from.
Right.
They got it wrong, but we benefited for that.
And then how about the other one, the big one that everybody saw and was upset about?
Yeah, this one happened at 1.1. Oh, no, not that one. Sorry about that. I got to go down. 3.1. Quarter 5, first overtime. Juan Toscano-Anderson and Paolo Banchero involved in this. I'll just read what they say. Banchero loses control of the ball on his gather without any contact occurring to him by a defender, and it sails out of bounds. Banchero is last to touch the ball, and possession should have been awarded to the Kings. Incorrect call was made in that game.
I'm telling you that it was a makeup call is the only thing in my mind that makes sense.
The problem the league has with that is, and this is what's so frustrating, we can all see it in the arena because they play it a billion times. You can see it at home. Like, the only people who don't know it are the ones that should know it. It's the officials. Like, they're supposed to know that, be able to look, hopefully, and see that and change that. That's what's so frustrating. Everybody watching, whether you're in the arena or you're at home, you can see it. But the officials, who are the most important ones, they can't.
It's just hard to believe because there's 3 of them. And even where I was sitting, and you're a lot closer than we are in the media, but where I was, you could see that there's no one around him. There's nobody else around him. There's no way that was off of somebody else. And again, you look at Paolo, and not once did he go, hey, no, it hit him, or review it. He just went, oh, no. So it's crystal clear. Yeah. So I don't know. To me, the only thing that makes any sense is makeup call. Otherwise, the officials weren't even watching the game.
Yeah. And I guess we'll never know, but you're right. That was such an egregiously bad call that we hope they're saying, all right, we screwed them last time. We'll take care of them this time. Because if you're that incompetent, if you're that bad, what does that say about you? I got you. There was another one I just saw, and I mentioned it just a second ago, that came at the 1.1 mark in this game. It was the screen by Domantas Sabonis. And, Magic fans, they're upset about this. They're talking about this call.
Was that where Queen was out?
Yeah, he got laid out. Domantas Sabonis with the screen. This was at 21.6 in the first overtime. After the dribble handoff, Sabonis establishes himself in Queen's path before the contact. However, Sabonis, after assuming a legal position, he moves toward Queen by turning his body and a foul was warranted. Trevlin Queen got laid out. They said that was an incorrect non-call. Yeah.
So maybe they figured they had to. It was a double makeup call.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was a lot to unpack here. A lot of calls down the stretch and that's going to happen. Obviously, in an NBA game, you're going to have missed calls. You're going to have, like earlier in quarter 4, I think it was Jalen Suggs. They said should have been called for travel. At the 6-minute mark, he slides his pivot foot to create space. Incorrect non-calls. It's the big ones. It's the egregious ones that we can all see that I think fans have a problem with.
But Kings fans know this all too well from last year. The 2-minute report comes out. Huerter was fouled by Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Should have been a foul. Yeah. It doesn't do any good.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. You don't feel better. You knew it already. You don't get anything for it. I mean,
so what do you think then? You trying to do away with the 2-minute report?
They should. I mean, you talk to the coaches, they hate it, right?
Yeah.
You talk to coaches, they can't stand it.
It serves no purpose because if you're a team and the league admits you were screwed, it's like you guys are admitting you cost us a game. It's probably better to just not even admit it, just say, you know what, we're just going to move on. And so I understand they're trying to be transparent, but I don't know what it serves, what it accomplishes.
I think it's not a good answer, but I think it's the lesser of two evils. It's like, this is what good is this? Well, it's not great, but it's better than when you had, years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it was, where some people thought these games are fixed because of Donaghy.
Right.
It's worse if you don't acknowledge that you made mistakes, and then people say, "Oh yeah, they won't acknowledge it because it's all fixed." So it's like you can't win.
You can't win. Damned if you do.
This
damned
isn't
if you
great,
don't.
but it's probably better than that.
Yeah, exactly. And but like you said earlier, we were on the winning side.
Yes.
If we had lost in some of these calls, like that out of bounds off of Banchero, stood and we lost that game, we're looking back on that and we're saying the refs screwed us, the NBA robbed us. Now we can dive into the 2-minute report and say, you know what? All right, some bad calls, but we got the win. We're good.
That might be, honestly, that's one of, if not the worst call I've ever seen. And I know that there's more important calls in bigger games, so I get that. But just a guy on the open floor losing the ball and they say, oh, it's off the defense. There was no reason for anybody to make that call that way. It was bizarre.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and look and see exactly how that transpired because, like I said, the woman official, Claire, she signaled Sacramento basketball. And then, they're milling around and I'm like, hold on, we're staying down this end. And so I didn't see, from my vantage point and everything, I didn't see the officials gathering and who did what. I'd like to look at back. Yeah, it didn't take them all. Yeah, exactly. I thought Claire signaled our way and then all of a sudden it was Orlando Ball. And that just surprised me. And so that's frustrating, right? Because that official that overturned that call, that changed that call, thought in his mind he saw it go off of Juan Toscano. Yeah. But clearly it did.
He thought he's doing her a favor. Yeah, hey, you missed it.
You missed it. I got you. Yeah, I actually, but no, you didn't.
Maybe you should have said, there's no one near him.
Right. But Claire is a first-year official, too. Like, so she, you had, Michael Smith, who a veteran of 31 years. I forget the other official, a veteran of 19 seasons. She was the newbie of the bunch. And so, she made the call, but then she was overruled by some of the veteran officials.
Sean Wright.
Yeah.
All right. All's well that ends well, though, right?
Yes.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Steven is on with the Drive Guys. Hello, Steven. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. What's up, Steve?
We're just glad that we don't have to, complain about that call costing the Kings a game last night.
Ain't that the truth, man? The more times that I would like to admit that has been probably the topic of conversation. So if they messed up so bad, if the referees messed up so bad, I'm not trying to make this a ref call, but this is just a generalized question. Do these guys get held accountable in any way, shape, or form? Like, is there any sort of punishment? Do they lose a game? I know they get ratings and so they can do big games and stuff like that. So I know they take a hit there, but do they get any sort of you're going to take a couple games off, or we're going to send you off to G League or something? That was kind of my question. I don't know if you guys have any insight on that.
Well, I'll just tell you this, and then I'll let Kyle address the specifics basketball-wise, but the official that botched the end of the Lions and Cowboys game, I know it's football, but like he's probably not going to get any postseason assignments.
Right.
So there's
right.
You're not really punished, but you lose opportunities to make money. As far as the NBA, I assume it's similar.
It's similar. You don't get the marquee matchups. You don't get the playoff games, and it's something, it's not a fine system or anything like that, but you just don't get assigned as much. And so the best officials get assigned the biggest games and the most games. And so I sat in a league meeting about this. This was a couple of years ago, and this point was raised. Like, there needs to be some accountability among the officials. And, you got the pool report where, one person is able to ask the official, a bunch of questions and everything like that. But outside of that, not refereeing and being a part of the big games, the finals, the playoffs, that's about it. Yeah.
Not to spend too much time wandering down, memory lane, but I really think that Game 6, the Lakers and the Kings, when Mike Bibby ran into Kobe and got a broken nose and they called a foul on him, I think that has a lot to do with the fact that you have the 2-minute report. Because we had Ralph Nader coming out saying there has to be an investigation.
right.
And it fed into that whole
Tim Donaghy's situation. Yeah.
It really did look like something was up in that Laker-Kings series. So that's why the league here has to try to be transparent.
Yeah.
Is it working? I don't know. But, that somebody on the text line points out, it's just the rules around when the refs review are confusing.
Right.
So,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
And, I'm in favor of more review late in games. I understand it slows it down. It takes it off. But if you're unsure, or like somebody mentioned also, it might have been on the post-game show yesterday or his Sirius XM NBA radio, why not have somebody in Secaucus, New Jersey say, you know what, guys, you need to take a look at it. Eye of the sky. Exactly. Something like that. And instead of leaving it to just those officials, there's a reason why you got a replay center. There's a reason why you have that eye in the sky. They can easily buzz somebody and say, hey, they need to take a look. Same thing a few weeks ago with the clock situation. Remember the clock malfunction?
Yeah.
Where they added a minute and change or whatever it was, 51 seconds.
About that.
Yeah. That
bizarre.
came from Secaucus. Like, yo, you need to take a look at this. It should be a mechanism where that happens during the games as well.
There certainly should be. We're going to take a quick time out here. When we come back, Domas deserves more credit. So why doesn't he get more credit? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. It's The Drive, guys. Answering all your questions today on Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Wanna see you with it, sure could treat you right. Give me just a minute of your time tonight. We both are here to have
The Drive
fun.
Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
All right, Kyle Draper, got a trade idea for you from the text line here. I don't think you're going to like it.
Oh, here we go. What we got?
Fans are going to fan. Hey, we're just having fun here from the 916. Can the Kings make a trade for Batiste, Thibault, and Ben Simmons? Sure, Ben's stock is nothing right now, so you can get him, right? Yeah.
Ben Simmons.
He's even playing. He's hurt.
He's hurt again. Yeah, he hasn't played since early in the season.
Expensive, damaged goods.
No thanks.
But you like the other guy, don't you?
Matisse Thybulle, we need a wing perimeter defender. And he's knocking down the 3-ball this year as well. I think he's high 30s, 37, 38%. And so I would love to get Matisse Thybulle. And, we had the caller talking about Portland and the glut of guards. They do have a logjam there. And, whether it's Brogdon, Matisse Thybulle, Shade Sharp, they got to move off on somebody. Yeah. Scoot, you got Simons, they got to move off on somebody. And so would you, Kings fans, give up a protected first-round pick for Matisse Thybulle? I'm just throwing that out there. Protected first-round pick. We gave that up for Kevin Huerter.
Yeah.
In that Huerter deal. Would you do that for Matisse Thybulle?
I feel like I'm close enough now, and I need better, more consistent bench play.
Yeah.
The starting lineup, and we talked yesterday about Barnes and Huerter, they're not what they were last year, but your starters, and we'll look at some numbers coming up in the show, your starters are still holding their own.
Yeah, exactly. It's the drop-off when you take some of them starters out, and Matisse Thybulle is a steady player, a heady player, competes defensively, which you need. Think about this. When you look at some of the teams we'll have to go through, who's guarding Jamal Murray if we have to face the Denver Nuggets?
The answer to anybody like that is always either Keegan or Harrison, right?
Right, Harrison,
where you are
or
right
maybe
now.
you throw De'Aaron Fox on. But, if you have to throw De'Aaron Fox on the other team's best perimeter player, that might be asking too much.
Yeah.
He can do it. Yes, I'm not saying he can't do it. He can do it. But wouldn't it be nice to have a Matisse, a defensive stopper? And Davion is that to an extent, but he's a little undersized. Matisse Thybulle, he can guard 1 through 4 at times. And so I would love to have a guy like him on the team.
Yeah, HB would have to guard Aaron Gordon there, right?
Yeah, he got Aaron Gordon. Yeah. Crown Royal, Thybulle weak, tired of hearing that name. And Conor McGregor will fight before Ben Simmons plays again. Never. All right, okay, you might be right. You might be. I ain't got nothing to say about that, but I like Matisse. I think he's a good player.
He guards people and he's making shots.
Yep.
That helps, right? That helps you.
Yeah. He says, if you think Barnes is sleepy, Thybulle isn't even conscious. He's very low energy. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about low energy or being, a second coming of Malik Monk. What I'm talking about is a guy that can defend and a guy that can knock down shots. We're not asking Matisse Thybulle to come in and average 20 points and be this Energizer Bunny or anything like that. The dude is 26 years old, shooting 38.6 from 3, and he's an elite defender. What are we talking about here?
Mm-hmm.
Bring him in any day of the week.
Right. Would you give up a protected first?
Yes, in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because I think Matisse Thybulle moves the needle for you when it matters the most, the playoffs.
Do you know whether they were anywhere near acquiring him last year? Because I know at the deadline last year there was speculation.
Anyway. No, I don't think so. I don't know how close they were.
And he wasn't shooting as well.
No, he wasn't shooting as well. Exactly. He's shooting a career high right now, 38.6, and he needed to get out of Philadelphia. A change of scenery has benefited him, I think, on the offensive end. And so 2-time all defense, bring him in. Let's do it. Monty, that might be a guy. We talked about DeJounte Murray, but Matisse Thybulle might be able to be had.
Now, you and I, it's amazing because we don't agree on everything, but these players were like, yes, we would do that. If they got DeJounte Murray, then we don't need Thybulle.
No, you don't need that. Yeah. Exactly. I'm
with you.
You could. If you want to have more depth, yes, you could. But I don't think asset-wise, I think we're a one-trade kind of team this year.
Yeah. If it's a big one.
Like that. Yeah, like DeJounte Murray. It's, I thought it was interesting. We had Jake Fisher on when he said Markkanen is going to take like a Gobert, Donovan Mitchell kind of haul, because there are a lot of fans here in Sacramento that say, why not go get Larry Markkanen? Are we giving up 5 first-round picks, some pick swaps, and some young players for Larry Markkanen?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't.
No.
I mean, it's great, Danny Ainge, if you can get that for him, but I wouldn't give him that.
Yeah.
We know that a couple weeks ago, De'Aaron Fox was talking about how Domas, he deserves more attention. I think his wife echoed that, right? And
Yes.
Domas last night, 22 points, on 14 shots and then 23 rebounds and 12 assists. And what I know Alan mentioned, the last guy to put up numbers like that was Wilt Chamberlain, you know.
yeah.
Which is misleading because Wilt would do like 50 and 40.
Right.
You know. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But still, so why doesn't Domas get more credit for what he's doing?
It's a great question. And I'll raise another issue. The NBA fan voting first round came out.
Mm-hmm.
Domas not even listed top 10 among front court players. And so clearly he's not a highlight reel. He's not on Sports Center, that kind of thing. He's not flashy. But neither is Jokic. You know, Jokic is just very solid, very good at what he does. And I think Domas is as well. And I think because he doesn't play above the rim, but neither does Jokic. Like and somebody, you know, when you look at Domas and Jokic, Domas is Jokic light. You know, he's that knockoff version, still pretty good, not quite Jokic, but still, I just don't understand the level of disrespect that this guy gets night in and night out. Are we just so used to what he does? Like, oh, it's another ho-hum double-double, ho-hum triple-double 7 this season. Like, this guy is putting up numbers. He's going to pass like Chris Webber in categories here. And like, you could argue when it's all said, he might be the best big man in Sacramento Kings history when it's all said and done.
Yep. The first time I heard that argument last year, I was like, come on.
Right.
But now it's like, yeah, he probably is.
Like,
right?
You know, he hasn't even been here 2 full years yet. Remember, it was 2 years ago they made that trade, if I'm correct. Like, he had the half season, and he had last year, and now part of this season. And so he hasn't even been here 2 full seasons yet.
I like the way our buddy Jerry Reynolds parses that question because, you know, he obviously has a unique perspective on it. He says, and he loves Sabonis, and he loved Webb. He said Webb was probably a better player, but Sabonis is doing more for the Kings than Weber did when he was here. And Weber did a lot.
Yes. I think when you look at Domantas Sabonis and what he's doing for the Sacramento Kings, first of all, let's talk about Weber had tons of pieces around. Sure, they ran the offense through him, but you also had Bibby. You also had Blot. Like, you had pieces. Domas is the catalyst offensively. He does so much for this team. He's the quarterback out there. And then you could argue he's the cornerback or the middle linebacker on defense, making the calls as well. And, you know, the beating that he takes, you know, you talk about guys who are irreplaceable on our team. Fox, obviously, Malik Monk. But I could argue we don't have anybody on this roster that comes even close to what Domantas Sabonis can do.
That's true. I struggle with the Weber Sabonis thing just because Weber was such a unique player. Going back to, I remember when I was first to wear him when he went to college and just watching him, and the combination of skills was just very unique. So I have a hard time saying anybody's better than he was as a King, but I understand the argument. Whereas a year ago, I said, I won't even, talk to you.
Let me ask you this about the Weber comparison, because statistically, Weber's a much better scorer than Domas. He averaged 28 points per game when he was here. Could he be that guy? But because of the offense, his nature, he's not looking for his as much. Could he be a 24 point per game scorer, 25?
I don't know. It'd be tough just because Webb, and you know this, Webb had so many different ways to score.
Right.
I think he had more.
He had the foul line jumper, the midi. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, if Sabonis was on a team where they're just getting him the ball all the time, usage rate way up, maybe he could, but Webb just had more things available to him.
More tools in his tool bag. Yeah.
But as far as the voting, one of the first teams that I ever covered in terms of going into the locker room and talking to coaches and players was the Warrior team when George Karl was the coach. I should just go in there and just listen to him talk. I remember one year somebody stomped out the All-Star game, and this is my advice for Kings fans. Think of it this way. And somebody said something about the All-Star game, and George Karl's like, All-Star game. Who cares about the All-Star game? And it is, to a degree, a lot of it is a popularity contest. And so the Kings right now are not as popular. Maybe if they'd won last year, if they'd won that first round series, maybe they'd be more popular. Well, they're not as popular as some of the bigger brand team guys in basketball. Who cares, right? It's like, who was the guy we talked to this week from The Ringer, Michael Pina?
Yeah, Michael Pina.
Said, well, I think because the Kings kind of brought back the same guys and they didn't have a ton of success in the playoffs last year. So fans around the country are not as excited about them. So that's all it is. It's just fans are just not as aware of what Fox and Sabonis are doing.
Yeah. And if you ask,
if they're not, that's on them.
That's on them. And if you ask De'Aaron Fox, to your point, who cares? Like, Fox isn't interested in putting himself out there campaigning for an all-star spot. He lets his play do the talking. You're right. I will say, when you talk about all-star nod, I'm looking at Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know if you saw those numbers.
Yeah, I did.
In terms of all-star voting this season, what Tyrese Halliburton got, it is insane. He is the leading vote getter among Eastern Conference guards, 1.38 million votes. Our guy, De'Aaron Fox, 210,000.
That is a little.
That is
curious.
It's curious, and it makes me furious, to be honest. Because there's this narrative about Tyrese that the league is pushing, the networks are pushing. He's always on the highlights. He's a great player. We love Tyrese. I don't feel that same energy about our guy, De'Aaron Fox. It's frustrating.
Do you feel that energy around Frankie? Does he bring that kind of energy?
Yeah, Frankie knows his stuff, so he's going to be bringing it. Yeah.
With last night's win as the loss to Charlotte flushed and forgotten, Frankie Cardicelli, our Sactown Sports Kings insider, joins us next with more on that and more. Drive Guys rolling on here on Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220, 800-859-3220, or biglou.com.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. Today, GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Plati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Malik Monk said, "That's games like that, those moments like that's what you play for." And I think games like that's why you're a fan, right? Was tremendous. But we also are dealing today with the fact that the Kings aren't doing great in the All-Star voting. Here's somebody who can explain that, I hope, because he comes to us today wearing his All-Star 2023 Utah t-shirt.
Salt Lake.
Joining the Drive Guys now, our Sactown Sports Kings insider, Frankie Cardicelli. Frankie, what is going on with the Kings and the All-Star vote?
It's rigged. No. I put something on, I guess, a thought on Twitter. I think it's very, clear that it's, I don't want to say popularity contest, it's kind of hard to say it's not a popularity contest. You see the Los Angeles, the New Yorks. Obviously, the All-Star game was in Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton is up there on the leaderboard. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really, it'd be great to have Sabonis on there, at least in the bottom.
Yeah, he's not even listed among the top 10.
You see guys like Austin Reeves on there, Klay Thompson's on there, he's had an okay season. John Morant, who's played, I think, in 7 games.
Yeah.
That's just the tough part about fan voting, and maybe down the line the NBA can try to readjust that. But I'm used to seeing the Kings get a little bit of disrespect in the fan vote.
Here's my issue with it, Frankie. It is a popularity contest.
Yeah.
How come our guys aren't more popular? Is it just because we play in Sacramento? Are we not doing a good enough job pushing them? Do we need to get the word out to Kings fans to support our guys? Is it our guys not wanting that kind of attention? What is it? Because you're right, it's a popularity contest, but the statistics indicate they're on par with some of these great players in the league right now.
Yeah, or exceeding them.
They were exceeding them, yes.
And I think that was kind of something that was going on when DeMarcus Cousins was here. He really never got the respect as far as the on the court, the antics. That's a different conversation. But the way that he played, you look at those numbers, you can't deny that's an all-star player. And you'd see him on those leaderboards sometimes on the 8th, 9th, 10th, or off the board completely. So this kind of goes back beyond. So I think it's just a Sacramento thing, which is unfortunate because Sacramento, we all know now, is a great basketball city and a great basketball environment.
Right. I'd like to think that part of it is the rest of the country is ignorant to what's going on here. And as far as fans here are sophisticated enough to know that it's not really that important. So, I mean, it'd be nice, but.
I mean, I still think that we're going to see De'Aaron Fox in the All-Star game. I think Domantas Sabonis, I don't think there should be a conversation. I think he should be in the All-Star game, but I know there's a lot of bigs that are going to be in the running this year, but there's no way that you can, quantify De'Aaron Fox not being an NBA All-Star, especially not as he's scoring 30 points per game this year.
How badly, Frankie, did the Kings need that win last night?
It's funny. I honestly am looking at their last couple of games, and they were a couple crazy moments away from dropping. I mean, right now I'm looking at their last 4 games are 3-1. If they lose last night, we're talking a whole different tone right now. And there are conversations, of course, we can talk about as far as concerns in the long run and whatnot. But I think last night was just a really fun, memorable basketball game. And I want to give you some props for Kyle. Great call last night, too. I was watching it back this morning.
Thank you.
Just a really fun game. My family was in town. I think I told Alan and Chris how my brother's visiting. He's in the Air Force, and I wanted to make sure that he went to the Charlotte game. I said, sell your tickets for the 4th and go to the 3rd because Charlotte is...
You get to win that night, right?
They lost 10 in a row.
Right.
Thankfully, they kept their tickets to last night and they got to experience it. But it was a fun basketball game that had a little bit of everything. Some chaos, maybe a lot of chaos, but a lot of great things as well.
How about this, Kyle? Frankie last night at some point and I was standing this close to you from him and his family, and he's introduced him to Watkins and all these people. And I was standing right there, and
you didn't get no introduction?
Weren't you talking? You were talking with
nothing.
You were talking with either JD or Alan.
I got shut
I told you.
I don't know, man. Y'all got to settle this. Y'all got to talk it out like Mike Brown and Malik over here. Something got to take. Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I honestly pointed at you guys. I'm like, those are my coworkers. Like, that's Alan and that's Whitey. Like, I swear.
All I saw was he pointed and then like pitched his nose.
Dang! I see how it is, Frankie.
Come on,
you doing my guy like that?
They'll be at more games. Okay. Okay. You can meet the family.
Yeah.
If there was any doubt before last night, I'm sure it's erased now. Malik Monk, you got to re-sign him, right? You got. I mean, we talk about off-season trades, whatever. Is priority number one making sure we lock up Malik Monk?
I think, just heading into the offseason for sure. That's number one on my list. I mean, as far as like the top storylines to watch once the season's over, I don't see a way the Kings can let him go. And I know that there's a bunch of like. It's a little murky as far as the contract situation. Other teams can offer more money, but there's other ways the Kings can offer like a 1-and-1 deal as far as like a 2-year deal with a player option that they can then get his bird rights and sign him to a much larger deal. I think the Kings have a good shot of retaining him because of the fact that you have the De'Aaron Fox factor. They're great friends, are very close. The way that Malik's really bought into being a King in this city, I think it means
seems
something
genuine.
to him.
I'm buying all that.
Yeah, he's taking post-game pictures, driving home with the beam in the background. I'm seeing that all over social. I think it really does mean a lot to him. And the fact that this fan base it's an incredible fan base. And I think that Sacramento gets a lot of flack around the league as far as people maybe don't want to play there until they play here, I think. Especially now when they're a winning team. I mean, before it was tougher to have guys come here. Rudy Gay obviously was here, and the basketball hell thing that's a quote that's thrown on a lot. But this is a way different. Like, this is way different. The Kings have a winning culture. They're establishing it right now with this coaching staff, a great seasoned coaching staff. They have players in De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, other veterans around that can kind of build off of. But Malik Monk right now making a run for Sixth Man of the Year. I didn't think he deserves to be either the one or top two choices right now. And I don't see a reason why the Kings should let him go. They should be as aggressive as any other team out there.
Here's a question for you, Frankie, from Scooter916 on the chat. And Kyle, you may have some information on this as well. Frankie, all caps, by the way. Frankie, I've been waiting for you all day to ask this. Is Huerter dealing with a hand injury? Looked like he was flexing his hand a lot last night.
It definitely seems like it's something that's obviously not feeling 100%. But I mean, if you feel good enough to play, you feel good enough to play.
Yeah.
And I think that if Kevin was really impacted by it enough where it was impacting his shot or hurting the team, I think that the training staff, and again, the Kings have a phenomenal training staff as well, won awards last year for keeping the Kings healthy. And they've navigated a little tough spell this year as well. But I think if it was really affecting him, he wouldn't be out there. I think that Kevin right now is just going through things we've seen before from Kevin. He's kind of streaky. I mean, a lot of shooters in the league are streaky, and right now he's going through a tough stretch, and obviously the lineup changes is definitely a cloud that's probably hanging over his head a little bit. I think he's a human being. It wouldn't affect anyone if they were whether it's long-term or short-term. If you're briefly demoted at your job, it's going to affect you a little bit. And he's taking it in stride, and he's out there playing minutes. I mean, 7 rebounds last night. I think he made an impact at certain points in the game. But the Kings miss his shooting. There's no question the Kings miss his shooting right now.
Yeah. He had that. He suffered a hand injury against the Hawks. Remember, left that game, didn't come back. And the thing I'm worried about with Huerter, and you could tell he's off, it doesn't even look good coming off his hand, I don't feel like. Even when he lets it go, it's a little, it's something, a hitch or something. Yeah, something's not quite right. With that being said, if the Kings are going to make a run, do what they need to do, he has to get going, right? Like, I mean, Malik can't do it all himself. From him and Keegan can and De'Aaron. Like, we need Kevin Huerter to be Kevin Huerter.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how much of a difference it would have made last night when you see De'Aaron Fox, who is also a human, and he's been incredible this year. I think that was his maybe second time this year where I've been, wow, De'Aaron had a bad night.
Right.
You need your other guys to step up. And last night, which we did not see against Charlotte, you have your Keegan Murray stepping up. You have Malik Monk going for 37. Harrison Barnes, 17 points.
Yeah.
Kevin really is that other missing piece that was there last year and was a huge part of it. I mean, he had the best year of his career last year, career highs across the board. If they can kind of tap back into that part of his game, and if he can do it off the bench too and kind of form that combo with Malik Monk, and the Kings could have a really strong bench unit of Monk, Huerter, and Lyles, I think the Kings would feel really good about it. But again, Kevin has snapped out of it before. I think as long as he's getting minutes, he'll snap out of it again. He's a great shooter. But it's something that the other guys around the media table were talking about last night too, is that same thing you just said, Kyle. The shot does look a little different. Even in warmups, it looks, and we're not shot doctors by any means here, but it just looks a little off.
Yeah.
And he'll make the adjustments. I think I have no doubt he'll be knocking down threes at some point.
Yeah, I was next to that table, by the way, as me and Scott Moak and Jay Ross. We didn't get to sit at the
It filled up quick. It filled up quick.
It did.
It filled up really quick.
All right, Frankie, you got the whole cowboy thing going for you, which I respect, but it's time to cut through all that and get down to what's really going on here. What is the deal with the Kings' poor foul shooting?
I don't have the numbers in front of me. Someone told me I have to do the research, but I think they've been like a bottom free throw shooting team for years. I think it goes back years. Like I don't know when they've had even back in like 2002. I know the biggest problem. Sorry to cover your ears, everybody, but that was the biggest knock on them too. They couldn't make the free throws. It really is. It's a puzzling thing because we've seen them in practice. I think there was a day early in camp where they let the media in and we have to kind of wait and they do their free throws. And if you miss a free throw, you have to make 2 in a row. If you miss one, They run down and back. And nobody could do it for a while. And it just kind of is puzzling. We're at this point in the season and it just hasn't gotten much better. You have your guys like Malik, who did miss a free throw last night at an unideal time, but he's a 90% free throw shooter. It just is, I don't know if they have to make some kind of gesture to the basketball gods. I'm not sure what really is the solution.
Sort of sacrifice or something.
Yeah, they have good shooters. It's just they're not knocking them down right now. But it really is like a long-standing issue that goes beyond this year and maybe just is a part of the Kings franchise lore. They're just not a great free throw shooting team.
All right, so they're 20-13 right now, Frankie. You extrapolate the numbers. You look at the win total. They're ahead of pace. They were 18-15 this time last year, but the vibe feels different. I'm starting to look at it like, you know what? Things aren't perfect. It's not going well, but yet you're still on a better pace than last year. How do you view this season and their ceiling as compared to last season?
I think it's like an interesting conversation as far as their approach. And I think Sam Amick was on with the guys this morning, Dave and Jason, talking about how he's heard from league circles that the question isn't really if the Kings will try to make a move. It's when will they make a move? And it's kind of a similar situation that last year they're in a position to make a run, you think, right? But they're kind of in like that little limbo. And the West is tough this year. Are they going to be a 5 seed? Can they make that jump back in the top 4 and host a series? Or are they going to be a play-in team? They really can go any direction right now. The West is that close. I'm looking at as far as they've had to handle more adversity this year. And yet, like you said, Kyle, they're ahead of where they were last year, handling the injuries, handling some bad losses. And the blowouts are a concern. I still think that's something that doesn't make much sense and why the Kings have lost these games and the point differential is what it is. But the fact that they were able to handle that adversity, and again, some of these teams are shorthanded, but as we saw last night, it doesn't really matter. The Orlando Magic were very shorthanded last night. And speaking of adversity, they broke a franchise record for made 3-pointers last night. So the Kings have handled these changes. And I think that the thing that I guess concerns me a little bit is these changes kind of show me with the lineup and the rotations that Mike Brown and the staff, they're searching for something. They're searching to see how they can be more physical and get off to better starts in these games. I think that the defense is still a concern. Chris Duarte is by no means Bruce Bowen, but he's someone that can bring more of a defensive impact than Kevin Huerter at this point. And you see guys like Sasha Vezenkov falling out of the rotation. Alex Len and JaVale McGee. Alex Len is someone I think he probably didn't, I didn't get any clarity on this, but probably didn't play last night because of the back-to-back is the only way I can equate it, maybe with his ankle, but they're searching right now. So I think that they're a couple pieces away. I think that it's a matter of roster personnel at this point. They don't have the guys to go and just be lockdown defenders. They just don't. Juan Toscano-Anderson came in last night, had some timely plays.
Styles was going nuts.
Oh, you should have seen his face. Did you see his face when he checked in? Did you guys lock eyes? You and
I was sitting in front of him, and he was like, "Someone's pounding me." What? He goes, "Juan Toscano-Anderson." So I saw.
He was so excited, so excited. They need guys like that can bring that intensity, but have a little more on both ends of the floor. I'm looking at those kind of like around the edges moves right now. I'm not really expecting a big swing for the fences type move. I'm not sure how you guys feel, but I think some coloring around the edges moves would be exactly what this team needs, especially on the defensive end.
Real quick here, because we had Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports on, and he says the Kings are still in the running for Pascal Siakam. What do you think about Pascal here in Sacramento?
I mean, I would love it. It's just, is it still contingent on Keegan Murray being involved? That's the question.
Right. Yeah.
And you see last night, again, Keegan still trying to find the consistency, but when he's on like last night, he really is in scoring off the dribble and attacking the rim and knocking down threes at timely moments like that. Yeah. That's exactly what this team really needs.
Rebounding last night.
Oh, six rebounds in the second overtime, which is incredible to me. But I think if you have to include Keegan, I'm hesitant just because the fact that Siakam is an impending free agent. I'm not sure if that would entail a talk of a extension. Maybe that changes things, but Going to be 30 next season. It's not as enticing to me as it was before. I think if he was a little younger on a longer deal, but Keegan, 23, he's on his rookie scale contract.
Right.
You have years, you can have him under control. It just seems to me that if that's what it's contingent on, I'd balk at it.
Big question here, Frank. Are you going to delight your many fans by staying with us for another segment?
Sure.
You're going to disappoint everybody and say, I got stuff to do.
Anything for the mini fans.
Frank ain't got nothing going on. He ain't got no life outside of basketball.
You have family in town?
What you got? You got something going on?
No. So my family, we're having like our last little. Not now. I'm able to be here. Let me say that. I'm not gonna run out. My brother leaves tomorrow to go back. To he lives in Oklahoma, so he's at an Air Force base out there.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, I'd say tell him to say hi. Say hi for me, but I didn't meet him.
He didn't get to meet him, right?
I said, "Do you want to meet Whitey?" He's like, He's like, where's Chris Watkins?
There you go.
Where's Carmichael
There you
Day?
go. He's smart.
Ouch,
He's smart.
ouch.
All right, we'll keep it rolling here then. Thank you, Jay. How much of the bad feelings from the Charlotte loss do you think are flushed as a result of what happened last night? Or, where is that whole thing about the roller coaster? But last night was so great, but they just had maybe the worst loss of the year. So what's a fan supposed to do?
I mean, I think I look at it the same way as De'Aaron Fox, who said kind of, we have a game tomorrow. We can't really think about this. And Mike Brown said the same thing. Like we're moving on to the next one. Like you want to take the things that were really horrific from that game, obviously, and put them in the back of your head and, work on that at a different time. But the matter at hand last night was Orlando Magic. And the Kings did look like they were coasting for a minute and they were playing very good basketball. And I think as a whole, they did have a very good night last night. It just really, Orlando never slowed down making threes. Like it really was just incredible that every time it seemed to got a ball left anyone's hands, and you have to tip your cap to Paolo Banchero, who I was a big fan of his in Duke. He's going to be a problem. Like if he is that kind of player and he's scoring off the dribble, he's knocking down contested threes. He's just a big guy, 6'10", with a lot of muscle on him. He's really going to be a problem. I think one of my friends said last night, like the Carmelo Anthony comp, I'm like, well, he's a little bigger than Melo, isn't he? Like, I think that might, I mean, he might be even better, which is insane to say. But I think the Charlotte loss really was kind of just like you have to hope it's like a palate cleanser as far as, okay, well, this is a reality check. And obviously that's on the heels of a tough stretch where you fall down big in Atlanta, you lose a tough game to Portland. I think tomorrow's game, I'm not saying it matters more than any of the ones we had before, but I'm going to pay a little more close attention and see how the Kings handle this new look Raptors team that seems to be gelling very well together. They have a new young core now with RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. If Siakam stays there, that could be a problem as well. They have a nice group. So tomorrow, I know that the record might be a little deceiving. As we know, records don't mean much when you have losses against Charlotte in Portland. But I do think that loss against Charlotte hopefully lit a fire into them a little bit.
We saw Malik Monk drop 37 last night, 9 dimes, and the talk today is we got to put him in the starting lineup. He needs it. I'm totally against that, Frankie. Where do you stand on that argument, Malik in the starting lineup?
I'm with you. I'm against it. I think that what makes Malik so great is the fact that you can have De'Aaron Fox come off the floor, and you have a guy that possesses a lot of the same qualities that De'Aaron Fox has as far as he can run the offense. He's been a complete assist machine this year. He's going to break all of his career highs in assists. He's someone who can score, by attacking the paint and get to the rim and get to the free throw line. He can knock down threes at a very good rate. I think he's over 40% this season. I think that if you add him into the starting lineup, and again, we see these guys close games together. That's what makes this lineup so great is that's kind of waiting for you in the wings. If you can find a way to get production out of other guys on this roster, again, if Kevin can tap back into his offense, if Chris Duarte, who had a good game, I believe against Charlotte, if you can have some stuff get more from those guys, you keep your bench unit intact. Trey Lyles has been stepping up the last couple of games. Alex Len obviously has been an upgrade over JaVale McGee in the short term. I think if you have Malik Monk on your bench, that makes the Kings a much more dangerous team. If you put him in the starting lineup, still a good team, but I mean, you have to put a lot more on guys like Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles, and I think that's not fair to those guys.
Frankie, what do you think of this notion? Kyle and I actually agree on this. De'Aaron Fox, we know that he's on track to be the greatest Sacramento King ever. He's the best player on the team, but it seems like there are times when they're more difficult to guard as a team if they're not quite so De'Aaron Fox dominant. Do you agree with that? I mean, last night, the shot distribution was a little more democratic. Again, I'm not saying he shoots too much, but sometimes when it's not just him carrying a heavy offensive load, I think this team can be more efficient offensively.
And that's kind of what the case was last year. I mean, De'Aaron was a 25-point-per-game scorer. He's up to 30 right now, and I know that's 5 points. I'm not saying 5 points split among Barnes, Huerter, and all those other guys is that much of a significance. But when you have guys that are struggling out of the gates, like Keegan was having a rough go to begin the year, and De'Aaron really had to step up. Kevin's been, obviously we've talked about a lot today. He's really had a hard time. Harrison Barnes really has had a knack of disappearing in certain games. Last night, a big game from him. Last night was kind of like peeling back the curtain a little bit, and maybe not as much to the extent as last year because Fox really had a very uncharacteristic night. Like that was
right. That was
maybe the worst game we've seen out of Fox in years. And that's fine because he had guys stepping up, and that really does, like you said, Whitey, it does make them harder to defend. You have multiple guys giving them buckets last night. Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, Harrison Barnes, Domantas Sabonis. I mean, that's quite a bevy of guys you have going at you versus De'Aaron Fox just going for 40 and maybe someone else chipping in with 18, which is what we've seen a lot over the past couple of weeks. So I completely agree. If Keegan Murray can find consistency, that's the guy I'm looking at. Can he do it? Can he be that guy? Because we know Sabonis is going to be a monster. I'm looking at his game logs, and there's not really many where you look at it and go, well, he should have done a little more here and there. It's Keegan who's supposed to be this third option, because we talk about who can the Kings bring in to be that third option. Keegan was on fire a couple weeks ago, and he kind of quieted down a little bit. Well, last night, we usually see, again, as far as streaky players go, he really, once he gets a game like that, he goes. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow to see what he does next.
When you look at the schedule coming up, you got 2 more home games. Obviously, our nemesis, the Pelicans. Ooh, I know, right? I know. But then you got that 5-game road trip. How critical, I guess, do you think this next stretch is? Or are we going to continue to ride the roller coaster with this team? I want them to finally settle in and rattle off 6-7 wins in a row. Man, can you imagine if they did that? 20-13, you rattle off 6 in a row, 26-13. Like, the opportunity is there when you look at the schedule. What do you think about these next week or two here?
I mean, again, this is the time to do it, and it has been since this homestand started.
Right.
Or even like
before then.
Even with
the Portland game,
that was the schedule I was looking at going, wow, they got Portland, Atlanta, they got Charlotte, and it continues. It doesn't change anything. I mean, you have a great test as far as tomorrow, Toronto, new look. New Orleans, beating them would just be huge as far as the Kings going, okay, we can beat these guys finally. It'd be the 4th time they've played this year, but you have to be able to get past these guys in the conference. And then looking past them, I think the back-to-backs in
Detroit and Charlotte. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not trying to be like a hot take. I think you got to have both. I'm sorry, but
you got to have both. I agree.
For a team that has aspirations,
Shock Frankie,
like the Kings, this is a hot take.
Hot take.
You got to
beat Detroit. You
have to beat Detroit. You have to beat Detroit. I mean, you see how furious teams are playing them right now. I mean, the Utah game last night was like Game 7 of the finals. Like they were going insane.
It was.
So it is a great stretch as far as. Well, not great stretch. It could be a great stretch.
Could be, yeah.
And if you beat Charlotte, again, it's a 4-game winning streak going into tomorrow if they would have beat Charlotte. So they're playing some good basketball as a whole as far as the win-loss record goes. But East Coast trips can be tricky. Mm-hmm. They do have some hard games in there as well. They got to go to Philly, which
Milwaukee,
that game's be on national TV. Are you going to the Philly game?
Yeah, of course, big dog.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
I know they did.
Can't keep me out of Philly.
No way, man. And the Kings have a bad track record in Philly. They really don't play well in Philly. So they have plenty of chances to prove themselves and plenty of games that are winnable in there. And I'm looking forward to seeing where they are after it. Because, again, like last year at this time was when they went on one of those long streaks. I think they had a 6-game winning streak at the end of January.
In January, yeah.
So if we're talking about parallels to last year, here's a chance for them to stack up some wins.
Finally, Frankie, I want to ask you about the Mike Brown Malik thing. And it's funny, somebody on the chat here is like, does Frankie go to practices? He's not really an insider if he doesn't. Well, doesn't Mike Brown follow you on Twitter, or his kids do, or something?
His kids see my.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way,
Mike Brown talks
he called
to him. I remember that.
He did. He showed me his phone. His son sending him some stuff. Luckily it's good stuff. I told him.
Right.
It's not bad stuff. But no, we go to practice. Yeah, we're at practice.
Yeah, he's at practice. He's at practice.
Brendan and I both are at practice.
Yes, of course. So I know that it's really no surprise Malik and Coach got into it during the game. We all saw that. That happens. They acknowledged that it won't be the last time. The only thing that surprised me about any of that was that Coach yesterday publicly apologized, not for benching Malik, but for as he said, he shared it with everybody that, hey, I told him I'm sorry, I should have coached you better. That was the only thing that surprised me, is that he said that publicly. What did you make of any of that? Ultimately, just nothing. Or interesting though. What did you make of it?
We've seen this happen a little before too. During camp, there was a clip that actually did go around, and I didn't put it out. I wasn't certain if I should put it out, so I didn't. But it was Mike and getting on Malik for, I think he didn't get back on defense. It was a very heated exchange. And it's been going on since last year too. They do have heated exchanges sometimes, but that's sports. Like coaches and players don't always see eye to eye. But again, it's about the respect. Is the mutual respect there? And the fact that Mike and Malik were able to sit down and have a level-headed discussion and get back on a level playing ground, and then they both say great things about each other in post-game press conferences. There's no rift. These are just guys that are both competitors. Mike Brown also is a very fiery guy. I know he doesn't always come off as fiery. He's a very, very nice guy. He's the funniest, I think, most interesting head coach in the NBA. But he's fiery. He wants to win. Like, he really does want it more than a lot of other guys around the league, I think. And Malik Monk is someone who might want more than anybody on this team as far as his competitive spirit. He is a competitor. And that back and forth was more just two guys that are both fiery guys going at it. And that's the thing that matters most. Is there a mutual respect there? And there is. But this is something that's been happening since last year. We've seen it more than once.
Yeah, Frankie Cardicelli, our Kings insider, Sactown Sports 1140. I'll let you go from me on this, Frankie. In the whole scheme of life, the whole big picture for your Sacramento Kings, how are you feeling about this team and its potential to at least get out of the first round?
Well, that's what I was telling the other guys, Alan and Chris, that what would you consider this season to be a failure? And to me, personally, I think if you don't get out of the first round, it's a failure of a season. I think that you want to keep climbing that ladder. And we didn't all agree. I think Brendan had a point. Like, I think just getting to the first round, it depends on who you're playing. If you're playing like Oklahoma City in the first round, you go 6 or 7, I think you can be okay with that. And we don't know what the playoff series is going to look like, because like last year against Golden State, that was one, battle of a series. Yeah. And a couple of shots fall here and there. The Kings are in the second round and maybe further, because they matched up well, in my opinion, against Los Angeles last year. That's where I stand.
What does Brendan know about failure? He couldn't even get the mayonnaise container open.
That was crazy.
Oh my gosh. I kid you not.
Honestly crazy that he came up with just the plain glizzy and was just like, I couldn't get it open. What do you mean he couldn't get it open? He's a good guy. He's a good kid.
Good kid.
He's a good kid.
Sorry to interrupt.
I always refer to him as a kid. He thinks it's hilarious. He calls me the oldest young person in Kings media. Yeah. I always call him a youngster. But no, I'm looking at it as I think the Kings need to finish in the second round of the season, second round of the playoffs at bare minimum. I think that's where this team wants to go. That's where they want to be. They want to go further than that. I'm just saying, for me personally, a first round clinch would be great, because again, the playoff drought's over, but now I'm looking at, they haven't won a playoff series since 2004.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing. You want to keep want to keep progressing. You don't want to be complacent. And this group does not want to be complacent at all. They want to go to the next thing.
Yeah. I'm in the minority. I know Kyle disagrees with this. I would love for them to win many, many, many rounds. To me, it's been so long since they went to the playoffs. If they get to the playoffs, to me, that is a success. Be great if they get out of the first round. It doesn't always, that progress doesn't always go in a linear fashion. So to me, if you get into the playoffs, success, anything else is gravy, but I hope they win many, many rounds.
And by the way, let me add, I'm being a little greedy there. Like, I'm just, you aim high. I think aim high. Like, why not? You're supposed to aim high. It's why else do you play the game? But it's a good group. I think as far as everything going on right now, it's a good group, and they're probably going to make some adjustments down the line, and we're going to see what happens. But it's a good group.
Right. Yeah, and when they do, Frankie will tell you all about it at SactownSports.com. And of course, you hear him as our insider on all the shows. Your Frankie.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Tell your brother hi, man.
I will.
Tell Whitey, tell him Whitey said hello.
I'll tell him. You'll meet him at some point. But
look at that look he's getting.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, we'll see you tomorrow.
The Kings aren't getting much all-star vote love, but a former King is. That's next with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
It's a new year, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling has a new heating and air special. It's a 2023 equipment blowout with prices on complete heat and air systems starting at just $8,995. If you have a high quote from another company, call the Good Guys for a free second opinion on repairs and replacement. Don't trust the other guys until you've called the Good Guys. Save 30% on the cost of your home's heating and cooling with proper attic insulation. For a no-cost estimate, call 530-GOOD-AIR or check them out online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057-618.
The new year is upon us with promises of new beginnings and new adventures, but don't let 2023 slip away without savoring the memories of all you enjoyed with family and friends. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Of course, looking forward with anticipation is exciting, but I have a lot to appreciate in this past year, and much of that revolves around time with family and more good time spent around my Naturewood dining table. Watching my grandson get messy with his birthday cake is priceless, and it reminds me that new life is the perfect balance between yesterday and today. Greet the new year with a visit to Naturewood Home Furnishings. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's New Year sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back, January 18th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Get $3 off coupons at Big O Tires and O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Get to the action in Toyota's all-new Tacoma. Visit sportsexpos.com for locations, seminars, and show info. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The 49ers Report, brought to you by EB Stone. EB Stone for the life of your garden. The 49ers rang in 2024 with 2 wins. First, defeating Washington 27-10 on the road, Week 17. Then, they clinched the NFC thanks to Arizona's win over Philadelphia. San Francisco now heads into Week 18 with the best record in the conference to finish out the regular season against Los Angeles, before having a bye week to open the postseason.
Welcome the new year with EB Stone, your go-to for indoor gardening success. In 2024, enrich your indoor oasis with EB Stone's Indoor Potting Mix, our best premium blend crafted for vibrant growth. Explore our comprehensive range from soil amendments to fertilizers and find everything your indoor garden craves. Nurture new beginnings, cultivate lush landscapes, and witness your dreams unfold. Cheers to a green and thriving new year with EB Stone, the heartbeat of your indoor garden success. Find a location near you for our products and tips at ebstone.org.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Right now, American Energy offering $0 HVAC diagnostics. That's normally $99 for nothing. Let the American Energy team test your system, connections, and all the moving parts of your system to ensure it's functioning properly. Let me say that again. $0 to get your HVAC diagnostic-ted. That's not even a word. That's normally $100. Making the uncomfortable comfortable. That's what American Energy does. That's what they've done since 1981. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since then. A+ with the Better Business Bureau? Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Do it before January 31st or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Who saw that coming? Kings over Orlando last night in double overtime. Orlando Magic shooting 56.8% from the three-point line, and the Kings needed everything they had, including a lot from Malik Monk to defeat the Magic. 37 for Malik, as you know. Harrison Barnes had a nice game, made a huge shot. And Harrison Barnes, of course, is a hot topic on the YouTube chat. And it's interesting. There's a conversation that caught my eye here. People are talking about the Kings, where they are right now, who Harrison Barnes is, and the term mediocrity. And let me tell you something.
Gosh.
Well, it's just being thrown around. Like, what is mediocrity?
Oh, okay.
Mediocrity is, by definition, it means you're neither good nor bad. You're mediocre. That's what it means. People kind of misuse it. I don't know if the Kings have ever been. They've always been one or the other.
Right.
I mean, I guess towards the end of the web era, they were kind of getting to a point where, well, they're kind of good, but not really. But for the most part, they've either been good or right now, make no mistake, they may not be everything that we hope they'd be at this point. But this is a good team. This is not a mediocrity.
Yeah,
that's not on the board.
Mediocrity is playing for the play-in, every year. Like just really, that 9, 10, 11 range. Like you say, you're not good, you're not bad.
Trying to get over 500.
Trying to get over 500. You're in the May. Yeah, but no, the Kings aren't that. You're right. They've either been 3 seed, or 14 seedless, right? Seedless. So yes, they're not mediocre. That's for sure.
Yeah, and as far as the All-Star voting, we got an early look at some of the All-Star voting, and I don't know. I guess I've learned following the Kings for so long not to get too worked up about it, but it is interesting. Top 10 so far, early fan voting in the West. Domas is nowhere to be found. And then among the guards in the West, you got De'Aaron Fox is 8th. It goes Lucas, Steph, Shea, Harden, Kyrie, Ant-Man, Ja, and then De'Aaron Fox. However, the leading vote getter among guards in the East is former King Tyrese Halliburton.
You had to go there, huh, Whitey?
Well,
you had to go there.
As Frankie pointed out, the game is in Indiana, so I'm sure that's helping his candidacy.
Is it really? I don't know if it is or not.
It's not hurting.
It's definitely not hurting. It shouldn't even matter. The problem I have, and this is no offense to Tyrese, and this really isn't even a Tyrese conversation. It's not comparing the two.
Right.
Oh, we should have kept. No, this is about 2 things. One, Tyrese is not only leading the All-Star guards in the Eastern Conference, he's at 1.38 million votes. He's 14,000 votes behind Steph Curry overall. Think about this. He's ahead of Dame Lillard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's ahead of Paul George, Anthony. I'm just looking at the guys, some of the guys. Jimmy Butler, Jaylen Brown. But so he's at 1.3. Fantastic player. Very entertaining. Our guy, De'Aaron Fox, 210,000. 240,000 ahead of Austin Reeves. 27,000 ahead of Klay Thompson. I don't get And as a Kings fan, this is why I would be frustrated. De'Aaron Fox is a better player. He's a better player than Tyrese. Tyrese fantastic. De'Aaron Fox is a better player. But the difference between marketability, excitement, fan engagement, fan favorite, that should bother me as a Sacramento Kings fan. And I don't know what we need to do to get De'Aaron in that conversation. Does De'Aaron need to be more available? Do we need to market him better, Kings fans? Because we're winning the games and he's putting up the numbers. We got a better record than Indiana right now. I just don't understand why it's such a big difference between the two. He's got 1 million more votes than De'Aaron Fox.
Well, anytime De'Aaron goes somewhere, he makes a national appearance, it's typically he and Domas.
Yeah.
They do it together and they represent the team,
yeah,
which I have no problem with. But it's those two guys, whereas Tyrese is clearly the face of the Pacer franchise. And I love Tyrese Halliburton, and I loved him coming out of college, and I thought he should have gone much higher. I have nothing but respect for him, and I root for him. But I don't understand how this has happened. Was because they were in the play-in? And I don't begrudge it, but I was like, I don't understand it. How he became that popular.
All of a sudden, yeah. You said,
what did he do? What happened?
He's one of the faces of the league right now.
I think you're right.
Every time I turn on the TV, NBA TV, ESPN, SportsCenter, First Take, whatever it is, they're showing Tyrese Halliburton highlights. Is it the personality that's an issue? Because De'Aaron doesn't seek out that kind of, limelight or anything like De'Aaron Fox has already said he could not care less about making Team USA and going to the Olympics. So De'Aaron Fox doesn't put himself out there like that.
Wasn't it last year Wally Zerbiak on MSG or somewhere said Tyrese Halliburton,
right?
Because he wanted Jalen Brunson to be an all-star, and he was like saying Tyrese Halliburton's not an all-star.
Yes.
Yeah, and now here we are a year later, he's like getting all these votes.
He's getting all these votes.
What happened?
I mean, he's going to be an all-star starter. He's going to be a starter, and we love Tyrese. Trust me.
Yeah.
Tyrese is my guy. But I just don't understand, not necessarily why he's getting so much love, but why our guy isn't getting love. I mean, you look at these rankings right now, and it's a popularity contest. Luka ahead of him, okay. Steph, Shea, James Harden, okay. Kyrie Irving. Everything Kyrie's been through, flamed out in Brooklyn, had the anti-Semitism, narrative around him. And yet he's still more popular, more of a fan favorite. Anthony Edwards. I'm surprised Anthony Edwards is that low, to be honest with you. Yeah. 289. To me, he's one of the young faces of the league. John Morant. John Morant got suspended 25 games for waving guns around. But yet he's still more popular than De'Aaron Fox.
It's disrespectful.
That's what I'm talking about, Jay. It's disrespectful. But whose fault is it, Jay? Because I'm not about just saying, you know what, this is the problem. I need to get some solutions. I need to make sure that this doesn't happen going forward. So what do we need to do here in Sacramento to get our guys some love? Do we need to go to the Kings and say, y'all got to do a better job of marketing? Do we need to go to De'Aaron and say, De'Aaron, we need you to be put yourself more out there?
Do you want them to market him separate from Domas? See, again, I think that's part of the issue. And the Kings and those players, like, we're a team. We're the two best players on the team. We're representing our city.
So you think that might be the part of the issue?
A little bit.
Okay.
It certainly doesn't explain all of it. There's also just Tyrese Halliburton. He's got that, whatever it is, right? He's got that.
But you got Giannis at 2.1 million. You got Dame at 955. You got Trey Young at 8.7. Trey Young's having a great season, putting up some numbers. Tyrese Maxey has more votes than De'Aaron Fox. LaMelo Ball has more votes than. This is a problem, Sacramento. And I don't know if it's, and we can't say because we're a small market. Charlotte's a small market too. We're actually a bigger TV market than Charlotte, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so. And so, shoot.
Gotta be bigger than Indiana. Are we smaller than Indiana?
Indiana,
around there? What we
I think we're bigger than Indiana also.
Because as a TV market, you include like Modesto, Stockton.
TV, we're bigger. We're like 19
TV.
in TV, right? 17 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so this is an issue. And this is where it's an issue, Jay and Whitey. It's not just about a respect for Sacramento thing. If I'm De'Aaron Fox, now you're playing with his money. If he makes All-NBA, All-Star, you get paid more. You're going to eligible for a bigger contract.
You mean the all-league team?
All-league, all that. And
not
you know,
all-star.
No, you get bonuses for All-Star too. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes. You know, you get remember, the NBA just came out with the 65-game policy, you know, and resting rules and everything. All-Star is a part of that. And so if you're De'Aaron Fox, because this is what this shows me is not only All-Star voting, but what about jersey sales? What about marketability off the court? What about commercial opportunities, endorsement opportunities? All that. All this is costing De'Aaron Fox some money, and he may not care about it. But I'm going to put up the good fight for him. We got to do it. We got to do it. At the end of the day, behind the scenes, he may say publicly, Jay, he doesn't care, but we know. When I'm turned on the TV and I see Chris Paul still doing commercials, I see John Morant, I see Dame Lillard, I'm like, I'm better than those dudes. I bust them dudes last night.
Remember the CarMax commercial that had Kelly Oubre in it?
Kelly Oubre got, Boban got commercial. Like
Tobias Harris is out there.
Harris got commercials.
Jimmy Butler.
So,
it's a bunch of folks.
What do we need to do, Kings fans, to get our guys some more love? And don't say, oh, it's because we're in Sacramento. I don't want to hear that. Because Charlotte's been a dog of a franchise. They've struggled. They're in a small market. And look at them. Look at Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell. 624.
Are you launching a Drapes the Vote campaign?
Yes, we got to rock the vote, baby. We got to Drapes the vote. Let's get our guy. It's not even just about sending him to Indy. He's going to be in Indy. I'm talking about respect, not only from the media, but also the fans. This dude is one of the most exciting players to watch in the league, and people are sleeping on De'Aaron Fox. That's what upsets me.
I think one of the factors, I'm not saying this is what it's all about, De'Aaron is pretty willing, I would say, to put himself second to the team's needs.
Mm-hmm.
And he don't play that way. When he plays like, I'm the man. But we talked about this a few weeks ago. When players are introduced, he's the first player introduced, right? And that's great that he's like, yeah, and let Domas go last. How many of the guys on the, leading the list of leading vote getters would do that? Not too many. So part of it is I think he's willing to, hey, you know what? It's about the team. I'm not as concerned as my popularity.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I want to open it up. We got some phone calls, 916-339-1140, 916-339-1140. Your chance to weigh in. What do we need to do to get more respect for De'Aaron Fox? And we can throw Domas in there, too, because he wasn't even listed on the top 10.
Right.
Alperen Sengun is getting more votes than Domantas Sabonis right now. Sengun's a great player. But Kings fans, what do we need to do to get our guys some love?
We're going to drive the vote. We're going to Drapes the vote when we continue here. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, Free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
On to Sabonis getting more all-star voting respect. Should we care? What's going on? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Of course, we're also still celebrating just a tremendous basketball game last night. That's why we're fans. We hope for games something like that. Double overtime. What a delight. And then, of course, with the Kings winning, then you can really celebrate it. And Kyle Draper had the call last night. Did a great job on a great game.
I'm still on the high from last night and how amazing that is. I'm ready to run it back tomorrow against a new-look Toronto Raptors team on the call for that. And I'm actually excited to see this Raptors team with R.J. Barrett quickly. Let's not forget Scotty Barnes and Pascal. Should be a fun one tomorrow as well.
Yeah, but you're concerned about what's going on here with this all-star voting.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm not that dude. I think we're at a point now where we shouldn't beg anymore. The Kevin O'Connors of the world, the Ringers, the Athletic. You know what? We did that. I'm turning my attention to the fans out there, league-wide. Let me tell you a story. Anthony Edwards, right? Great player. I love Anthony Edwards.
Isn't he one of your son's favorites?
That's where I'm going right now. My son, who lives here in Northern California, his favorite player in the league is Anthony Edwards. What is Anthony Edwards doing that De'Aaron Fox isn't doing? Like, why is Anthony Edwards getting the love nationwide? And I will admit, I'm a little surprised at these numbers, just 289,000. Great player, Anthony Edwards. No doubt about it.
And where does he place? I'm sorry, I have the list.
Sixth among guards.
So he's not doing great either.
Not doing great either. Like, why is James Harden still a top four? And he's playing great for the Clippers. He's playing amazing. Why is Kyrie Irving? And this goes back to the conversation we had a month or two ago about superstardom. In my eyes, De'Aaron Fox has the potential to be a superstar. But these numbers right here, these are disappointing to me. It's like, how do we get our guy to superstar status? And like I said, he may not put himself out there like that. And I love the fact that De'Aaron and Rasay, they do a lot of stuff behind the scenes,
right?
When people aren't watching. They don't have to be up all in the cameras all the time, all in the videos like Suge Knight said. You know what I'm talking about, Jay? He ain't got to be Puff Daddy.
All right, Source Award.
You know what I mean? But I appreciate that.
That's part of it.
But
yeah,
it is part of it, though. Like, I can't. He says he doesn't care, but I would imagine every player would like to be one of the faces of the league. How do we get De'Aaron Fox to that point?
Real quick, Whitey, before I know you jump in, I will say, I think first and foremost, Drapes, the first part of it is you bringing it to the attention.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you guys bringing it to the attention mean something, right? The fact that it's even being called out, you know, compared to, this is something that I haven't really seen anything via social network or any, you know, Kings beat guys or anybody really crying about. And so the fact that you're even putting it out there, I think already creates a narrative that we need to create to push. But the other part, before I know we're going to take some callers here, couple of things. And I think, Whitey, you're part of it. What you just said is when you really compare, and I'm just comparing Tyrese compared to De'Aaron, Tyrese is definitely a little more personable.
Yeah.
He comes off across a little more personable.
Smiling all the time. And yeah,
like, you know, and the other part of that is I think you see him, and it may be his team, meaning Indiana, or his team, meaning his agency, his marketing people, his PR, you know, whoever's concocting his behind the scenes situation. It seems like they're a little more go-getterish than De'Aaron's clutch sports guys, you know. So I don't know if that's the situation. But the other part of it is, and this is what I really wanted to say, is there comes a point in time, Sacramento's got to step up and stop doing the talking. Like, I'm challenging Sacramento and surrounding areas. We talk about the, you know, the market size and everything else. We cry as a market all the time about why we don't get the respect, why our guys not here, why we don't do this, why we don't get national television games and all this other stuff. Well, 200,000 votes, even in Sacramento, man, that's poor. And we have to do a better job of Sacramentans and, whatever you want to call yourself to put the best foot forward. Now, again, look, holidays just happened. Happy New Year. Life just happened. I get it. I understand. We all have different lives, but it's easy because everybody has a cell phone, man. My 81-year-old grandma text messages me. She buys stuff off Amazon. She's 81 years old. She's got an iPhone, which means we can vote. We can jump on it. So as Sacramento Kings fans, even not even being in this area, but if you're listening, we got to do a better job of pushing that and pushing the narrative as well. And so we need to start to challenge ourselves instead of crying about what's not happening and be proactive about what is happening.
And to that point, Jay, Domas is not even in the top 10 in front court voting. 10th is Cat. 10th at 139,000 votes.
Man, that's chump change.
And Domas he doesn't even have that.
Who's voting for Fox and not voting for Domas, too? Like, Kings fans, if you're voting for one, you best be voting for the other, too.
And Monk at this point. I mean, I'm voting for you.
For the whole squad.
I'm writing in ballots. Okay, at this point, I'm going to write in a ballot.
Let's talk to TC, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Thanks for hanging on, TC. What's up?
Yeah, man, I'm here. Whitey, Drake, JJ's. What's going on?
What's up, TC? What's happening, baby?
Oh, man, just tapping in with my boys. Hey, look, I like how the band came together last night, and I like how they got that relationship between the players and coach, man. I like how you can get on Mike and Mike can get on you and everybody can move on, man. That's a real brotherhood. But I'm with you, Jay. Like, as far as Sacramento, bro, like, to get Domas and Fox are perfect, bro, but, like, we got to win a playoff series. We just got back to the playoffs. Like, I guarantee you this season, once we win round one this season, I guarantee you all the narratives, all the leaving people off the all-star votes and, like, everything will be acknowledged. Kind of like how Ja Morant was, but Fox is better than that dude. So we got to win a playoff series. I know we got a winning season. We a highlight reel. Everybody like watching this. But as far as, like, winning the series, that's what's going to put the respect on everybody's name. And I know Domas was in the playoffs before Indiana, but we got to win a playoff series on that note. Also on Monty McNair, I love how Monty McNair is patient. He's always sitting back in the cut. Once all the smoke clears, that's when the trade's going to go on because everybody's asking price is high right now. Monty is perfect at that by just waiting and saying, like, even the team he's negotiating with, okay, bro, you know what, I'm going to fall back and let you chill out for a second. And then I'm going to let you come to me when all the smoke clears and be like, hey, you know what, give me that deal. Right now we can do it. Instead of just giving up a haul for a player that we want to get, like a Kuz, Jeremy Grant, somebody like that, a Siakam, we might be able to get a steal deal later. I love that about Monty. That's all I got, guys.
Thank you, TC.
Good call,
TC. He's right, but that really speaks to the double standard we're dealing with here in Sacramento. Everything he said is true. I agree with him. If the Kings start winning some playoff series, they'll get that respect. But some of these guys that are getting a lot of votes, their teams haven't won a playoff series in a long time.
Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns, you mentioned. Tyrese Halliburton hasn't won anything. Dallas didn't even make the playoffs with Kyrie last year. And I understand Kyrie's, a superstar kind of player. But you know what? When we're looking at production on the floor, elevating of your team, De'Aaron Fox has a sexy game, too. It's not like, he's this lumbering 7-footer that's just plowing down low and, shooting jump hooks all night. Like, this dude's the fastest guy in the league with the ball. He's Mr. Clutch. I mean, this guy should be one of the faces of the league.
Remember, this week we talked to Michael Pina yesterday. Yeah. Michael Pina wrote, hey, De'Aaron Fox having a great year. It should be a bigger national story.
Yes.
So I asked him, why isn't it? He goes, I don't know. It's a great question. That's what we're dealing with.
That's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
What
Curtis.
do we need to do, Kings fans?
Curtis, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Hey, Curtis, what's up?
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. How y'all doing today?
Good.
What's happening?
Yeah, so I got a couple things about the De'Aaron Fox All-Star voting. It boggles my mind because there may be one better guard in the West than him right now, Shea, but that's about it. I'm sorry. So my solution is this. Maybe some people need to make up some burner email accounts to get more votes out there because I think that living in Northern California my entire life, Sacramento my entire life, there's a lot of Kings fans out here, but there's a lot of Warriors and Lakers fans too. And we might not be able to overcome all of that with their fans voting for their guys and our fans voting for our guys but maybe just not in the abundance that we need to vote for them for. That's my take. That's all I got.
Thanks, Curtis. How does Klay freaking Thompson in 9th place right now?
Because Rocco's really cool.
Like, what is going on here? What are we doing?
The Manta shoes he rocking wearing. Okay.
Yeah. Austin Reeves. And here's the thing, though, about De'Aaron Fox. You know, at 916-339-1140, 916-339-1140. Here's the thing about De'Aaron Fox, I'll say, and I want to get your reaction after this, White and Jay. He's with Clutch Sports. That's LeBron's people, right? That's LeBron's people. They're hip. They're cool. Who did he just sign a shoe deal with?
Steph Curry.
Yeah. So he's, in my eyes, should be trending. He's hanging with the right people. He's hanging. LeBron's number 1 in boots in the Western Conference. Steph Curry's number 2 among guards. So the people that know, the stars, they respect De'Aaron Fox. How do we get the fans to respect what he's doing and give him some love?
Yeah. Before someone tells them, hey, you know where you could get more respect. Right?
Right. I'm glad De'Aaron's not that dude, though. He's not that guy, Whitey. Don't even start alluding to that.
Man.
Don't do that. Jay, I don't want to hear it. Jay.
We'll take a quick timeout.
Don't go there, baby.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We're driving the vote here with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He stopped the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done, whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
How come the Kings, as well as they're playing this year, great win last night, how come they're not getting more votes in the All-Star voting? Yeah, De'Aaron Fox is, 8th? Domas is not even in the top 10 in front court.
Not
voting.
even in the top 10.
And you only need like 140,000 to be in the top 10. He's not even in the top 10. And that bothers me more than the De'Aaron Fox thing. And both of them are egregious. But you look at the Domas, the numbers he's putting up, and people are saying, yeah, no one's done that since Will Chamberlain. And he's not even in the top 10.
Real quick, Whitey, sorry to cut you off. We're going to talk about Domas here in a minute. You got Alperen Şengün at 7, 330. Victor Wembanyama, he's a celebrity.
Right.
Chet Holmgren is ahead of him. And I like Chet as a player. And Karl Anthony Towns at 139. Domantas Sabonis not even there.
That's an interesting one, though. Because Cat's not a fan favorite.
He's not a fan favorite.
Like a lot of folks don't really tie into Cat.
Ain't people not buying Cat jerseys like that.
Nobody likes.
Right, nobody.
Maybe they should, but people don't like it.
I'm calling BS on these results here.
Really?
Yeah, something's.
Oh, you think the numbers was
I
fake? a little
think the
bit,
numbers are a
Trace?
little.
Not all precincts are reporting yet?
Yeah, I
Hanging
think
chads.
hanging chads. Exactly. The ballot boxes were messed up. So something just doesn't seem right to me because you're right. Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know a single kid outside of Minnesota.
You're not going to certify these results.
I'm not.
huh?
I'm not. And it used to be. Remember back in the day, they used to do the voting when you were in the arena.
Yes.
You used to. And so if you had more home games, with an initial, then you would have more votes.
advantage.
Like it's not the case anymore. That's what's so perplexing about this. I don't know the reason why a guy like Karl Anthony Towns, like Alper and Şengün, is it the turkey vote? Like another country,
be. Wiggins was voted into the All-Star game a couple years ago because he got a pop star in Korea to promote him. And no one really wanted to talk about that, but it was pretty clearly true.
Yeah, somebody on the text line said 916. Do we need to start the rumor that Taylor Swift's favorite NBA team is the Sacramento Kings?
Maybe
we should. Dude, if we could just get her to wear a Kings jersey, a Domas or Fox jersey, it would change everything. Look what it's done to Travis Kelce.
Yeah, we'll start the Taylor Swift Malik Monk rumor. Yeah,
and De'Aaron Fox is a big fan of Taylor Swift. You guys knew that? Like,
I didn't know that.
He's a huge fan of Taylor Swift.
Well,
How
there
come
you
we
go.
can't, that's a marketing
There you
campaign.
go.
That's free, John Reinhardt and the Sacramento Kings. I'm giving you
Talk
that one
to
for
him.
free.
Before we get back to the phones, I want to share this
Yeah, what
on
you
the
got?
chat here. Maybe you saw this. I love my life on the YouTube chat. I vote every day for my favorite NBA player. I'm from Rhode Island. I vote for Malik Monk. It affects his money potential, too. You all want him to be 6-man only. It's business for him, too.
Yes,
$sign.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's money.
Bobby
Yes.
Hill says it's East Coast bias. Half the country asleep when the Kings play. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, but 200 though, like
No,
I'm
you're right.
I'm
It doesn't explain it
gonna
all.
jump in there for Drapes. 200 though.
That's
Now I'm on
part
my
of it.
Drapes.
Yeah.
Big fella, as Drapes
big
was
fella?
saying.
Come on,
man,
big fella.
200. I mean, you can tap it 25 times
Right.
per person every day. 200.
You know what? We should do that here on Sactown Sports 1140. Like
Yeah.
a rock the vote day.
Yes.
Like where, from start to finish, we wake up with Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross throughout the day, ended with the drive guys, a push to get votes on that one day.
Well, you thought of it, so we'll call it Drive the Vote.
Drive
right?
the vote.
Something.
Drapes the vote. Drapes the vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Joe joins us on Sactown Sports. Hello, Joe. What do you know?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Love the show. You guys always do a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I wanted to chime in on the De'Aaron Fox, Giannis Sabonis, and their lack of votes, I guess, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think the NBA and their marketing has a lot to do with it. Every commercial I see for the NBA, little snippets of shots and layups and stuff, you never see De'Aaron on there. You never see Domas on there. I think that has huge marketability around the country of them not getting that recognition. Maybe TC does have a point on winning a playoff series might get us over that hump and get them into some sort of recognition by the NBA. But I really think that they have a little bit to blame in this as well.
You're probably right, Joe. And they probably would tell you, well, they're just not that popular, so that's why we don't promote them. I'm not saying they're right, but that would be the
You know what?
justification.
Let's call it what it is, though. Let's peel back the curtain. Let's get real here, Sacramento. The league has certain guys they push to be the face of the NBA. They got certain darlings. It's been LeBron James, well-deserved, well-earned.
It's not just individuals.
And it's not, and it's teams as well. Exactly. Lakers.
Markets, too.
Celtics, markets, New York Knicks. How come the New York darn Knicks on Christmas Day every single year? They've been trash. They're getting better now. They're playing better now. But why are the Knicks all of a sudden on Christmas Day every year?
They've played more games on Christmas than any other team in
Right,
the NBA.
exactly. You got Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson has 374. And I understand New York's a massive market. I get it. Okay. But Jalen Brunson ain't selling tickets and selling jerseys. Ain't nobody traveling to Detroit in December to see Jalen Brunson. Ain't nobody going to Milwaukee. Oh, Jalen Brunson's coming to town. But they're doing it for De'Aaron Fox. I've seen it on the road. And so the league has to do a better job. And I understand. It's always been that. They've always pushed the Lakers. The Lakers always been. It's sort of like NFL Cowboys. It's always like that. But the league got to do a better job. I could argue, where's Devin Booker on this guards list? He has an issue. Devin Booker's a star, and he's not even on that. So that's why I think these numbers, something's a little funky about it.
Huh. Ashley, thanks for hanging on, Ashley. You're on with the Drive Guys. What can we do for you?
So I just wanted to talk about the All-Star voting, and as a Kings fan, I feel like a lot of things have been touched on already that kind of play into why our guard and De'Aaron and our forward and center, I guess now, and Domas isn't getting the love they deserve. And I think that it's partly the East Coast not being up. I think it's LA Clippers and Lakers and Warriors and Golden State stealing some of the votes. But I also think that part of it is just we need to push more of a narrative as just a community of sports fans here in Sacramento and really just drive home how impactful these guys are to our team and what they've been doing. So that way when they get up in the East Coast, the first thing they see on X or whatnot is all these, personalities, fans, etc., just talking about what a great performance our guys had, rather than also sharing as much hate as we do on our platforms about Huerter and Barnes, all that stuff. We need to put some of our stars more in the limelight, I guess.
All right. Yeah,
good call.
Thank you.
Good call.
Thanks for hanging on. Yeah, the end on the chat here says, Cat changed the game of basketball.
Right.
Yeah, but thank you.
Best shooting big man ever.
Yeah,
right?
and John Williams says voted for Sabonis, Fox, and Keegan today.
Okay.
And Jay says vote Monk, right?
Yeah,
Jay?
gotta get Malik in there. You know what's crazy though is and Ashley kind of said something that sparked my mind is soon as Kevin O'Connor, I know we be beating Kevin, we didn't stop Kevin out at this
he
point.
He don't even return the text anymore.
He don't even mess with Drapes no more. Who was that, man? Were you still in Boston? When you get back to Boston, call me. That's at this point.
Michael Pena comes on.
When someone says anything ill will towards the Kings on social network, I mean, it blows up in this market.
Yeah.
Like people are going at them. They're assassinating folks' character. They're very protective. It's almost like a mama cub, like a mama bear on a cub.
Right.
You say anything about Sacramento, the beam is not bright enough. Oh man, we got the best LEDs in the world. Like we got the best Christmas light you could ever see. Like you see all of that.
Right.
But then when you put here 200K, like probably between text, figures, social network, you're probably easily touching your keypad 10,000 times a day almost. Like it's got to be crazy how many times through text messages and stuff you touch your phone. 200,000.
When did the voting start? You guys, I was only vaguely aware recently. Maybe that's part of it too. People aren't even aware it started yet.
You don't think so?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
No, it's been a week or two.
A week or two?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think right after Christmas or something like that. And, we've been mentioning it on our air, the television broadcast, for at least 2 weeks now. Send Domas and Fox to the All-Star game.
I noticed, I'm assuming all teams have it. The Warriors have one. The Kings have one, a little something they put together, special presentation to vote for them. And they have Domas and De'Aaron are like superheroes.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And the Warriors one is, they're like, it's kind of dumb. They're like, they're race car. Each player's like a race car. Help them win the race.
Get them out of here.
Yeah. It's not good.
Tuesday, December 19th. I believe I just saw December 19th.
December 19th. Yeah.
Wow.
7 p.m.
Let me bring this up because, this is one thing I'm noticing. I look at the Celtics, obviously, a lot. Used to work with them. There's a campaign going on right now to make Derek White an all-star.
Wow.
You hear Joe Mazzulla talking about it. You hear the players talking about it. They went to San Antonio, had a game against the Spurs. I think it was in San Antonio. Greg Popovich mentioned it in his post-game press conference. Derek White is playing at an all-star level.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And so there's this sort of, underlying push to make Derek White an all-star. Derek White, 175,000 votes. People don't even know who Derek White is. How's he getting 175? But I think there's a push. We're trying to do it on the TV and here on radio, obviously. There needs to be more of a team push. It needs to be more of a media push.
Yeah.
And our fan base too. We need to, use our reach, our social media reach. We want to tweet about trading Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter, but we ain't going to tweet about sending our guys to the All-Star game. Like, we got to do a better job.
Yeah. Drive the Vote continues when we come back. Also, maybe all the Kings really need is to build a better bench. Some interesting numbers on that front. Next with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
I was afraid to cut the cord, but I'm so glad I did. I was paying way too much for cable. I wasn't finding the shows I wanted, and the prices kept going up. Thankfully, I discovered a new way to watch called Philo. I get to see all my favorite stuff in one spot, anytime I want, anywhere I want, for just $25 a month. Plus, Philo's got unlimited DVR, so I never have to miss anything. It really is the best deal in TV. Try it out for yourself. Go to philo.tv. That's PHILO.tv and start your 7-day free trial now.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know? Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game and high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The new year is upon us with promises of new beginnings and new adventures, but don't let 2023 slip away without savoring the memories of all you enjoyed with family and friends. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Of course, looking forward with anticipation is exciting, but I have a lot to appreciate in this past year, and much of that revolves around time with family and more good time spent around my Naturewood dining table. Watching my grandson get messy with his birthday cake is priceless, and it reminds me that new life is the perfect balance between yesterday and today. Greet the new year with a visit to Naturewood Home Furnishings. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's New Year sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Before we get to what the Kings may or may not do at the deadline, some interesting thoughts here on the chat on what we can do to help Domas and De'Aaron Fox get more all-star votes. The early results came out today. The Drapes having a hard time with them. They are pretty stunning. De'Aaron Fox 8th among guards in the West, and Domas nowhere to be found in the top 10 in the West.
Not even on the top 10.
Nowhere to be found. Let's see here. We have from Steven Torres. We all need to set an alarm for 5:10 p.m. At that moment, take a second to vote for the boys. That's what I'm doing anyways. We got to all be better as Kings fans. A hashtag like the beam. And we have Beamer Beams or Beamly. I just voted. I let you vote on multiple devices, even on the same registered NBA ID account. So
I'm going there right now, as a matter of fact.
Thank you, Drake, for bringing it to the attention of folks,
right
man.
now, Jay. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to vote for our guys. Vote now, All-Star Game. Let's go. I'm going to get our
50.
guys
I'm
there.
going to do 25 on each phone.
Okay, let's do it.
Maybe
Let's
the
do it.
computer in here, too. We got 2 or 3 computers. We'll use that as well.
You know, because we can't be talking about it all frustrated and angry and ain't doing our part.
Right.
So I'm doing it right now. Let's go.
You going to the All-Star game?
No, I'm not going to go this year. I went last year.
Utah?
Took my son.
Yeah.
It'll be in San Francisco next year, so I'll be there for that. This year, you know what?
You going to the Super Bowl, right? Watch the Niners.
If the Eagles are there,
excuse me, Whitey. Go ahead and take that back. Take that back, Whitey.
Dude, the Eagles will be there. No, but you know where I'm thinking about going, and y'all can help me out too, and people at home. I'm thinking about going to Cabo with the kids. Like, have you? Oh, you giving me that look, Whitey? You make it sound
Cabo,
like
okay. The kids, aren't those two? I've never been there, but to me, they're two separate things.
Well,
am I wrong, Jay? I mean, I guess I'm sure you could.
Is it?
Yeah,
I mean, I've never been. I want to go. I want to give the kids something. So,
I mean, I'm sure they're.
So really, it's a trip
there.
for me, and I'm just like, all right, y'all can tag along. You know,
I get what you're saying.
You see what I mean?
I guess what Whitey is saying is the All-Star game a family trip? Because that's more of a family trip, right?
Yeah,
right.
But the All-Star game, been there, done that. I took my son. First of all, let me tell you how much All-Star tickets were. You know, it's hard to get All-Star tickets.
I do know.
It's a couple bands.
It is, man.
It's a couple bands.
That's because it's not a lot of fans. It's
right.
a lot
It's
of
more
business,
corporate, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's other games I'd rather see for that much.
Right.
money,
It's like
right?
going to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, like
they don't even have a Pro Bowl.
Right. They don't even have it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm voting. Go ahead. You continue, Whitey. I'm a vote right here.
Here's a thought on the Kings going forward. We talked today to Jake Fisher, and Jake Fisher says, based on what he's hearing, the Kings could still be. We kind of walked it back a little bit, Drapes. He said the Kings could be in on Siakam, but he also said it's not a real active market right now, so it looks like Toronto's kind of like biding their time. But he says the Kings. He also said that he thinks the Kings were in on Anunoby, but just came up short. But you look at the Kings' starting lineup. I have here best NBA starting units in terms of net rating. What's your guess? Where would you think the Kings rank?
Best NBA starting unit.
Yeah,
net
I'll just tell
rating.
you, number one right now is
Celtics.
Philadelphia.
Oh, Philly. Where the Celtics
and they're
at?
plus. Boston is third.
Okay.
Yeah, they're plus 19.6.
Minnesota number 2?
Minnesota is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're not in the top 10.
Who's 2?
Denver.
Wow.
20.8.
I would say Sacramento starting 5, and I'm assuming this is including Huerter and Harrison Barnes, like their most used starting 5.
That is correct.
13.
Philly 1, Denver 2, Boston 3, Clippers 4, Milwaukee 5, Sacramento 6th, plus 12.2.
Wow.
How about that?
So that starting 5 is the 6th best 5-man starting 5 in the NBA. Is that
Harrison Barnes, Domas, De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray. That's according to Steve Ilardi. Yeah, I was a little surprised. Last year, I believe, I looked it up, they were 5th last year. And right now, so far, for all their ups and downs and blemishes and problems, the 6th best starting unit in terms of net rating. So maybe, if you can add a guy, superstar, that's great. Maybe if you just build a better bench, you're on your way.
Right.
To doing some special things.
And maybe that's why Mike Brown stuck with Kevin Huerter for so long, because you look at the analytics, the numbers, that 5-man unit, it's good. It's solid. And maybe you don't need to change it. Really, all you need is Kevin Huerter to start making. We won't have this conversation if Kevin Huerter is making his shots, which, we all hope he does. That's interesting because when you look at it this season, Keegan's been up and down.
Yeah, and there you go.
Oh, all right, okay. Harrison Barnes has been
on the back
up and
of the
down.
lineups. Yeah.
Okay, Harrison Barnes has been up and down. Your only real 2 consistent players has been De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that tells me is with those guys struggling, you're still 6th in the NBA among starting. Can you imagine if they actually started hitting something.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is interesting. Clippers, Milwaukee.
I mean, those are good teams.
These are all championship level teams. Yeah.
Fans get frustrated because, Coach Brown's not sticking with a regular rotation. I think he's still looking for something he's getting some consistent production from.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's interesting about Mike Brown and not sticking with a regular, he's stuck with his starters for a long time this season.
Yeah.
When people were calling for Huerter to be benched, Harrison Barnes to be benched, Mike Brown stayed true to those guys. And then just recently, over the last 3 or 4 games, he made the change. But this is when you look at these teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, hold on here. Hold on. Hold on here. Denver has 2 in the top 7 in terms of 5.
Well, I guess they have 2 different.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson, KCP, Gordon, Jokic, and Porter. Then you take them out, KCP, Gordon, Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Porter. Wow. That's interesting right there.
Yeah.
Denver has 2 of the top 7 5-man units in terms of net rating. Woo.
Mm-hmm.
That
surprised me.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think that there's some encouragement there for Kings fans. Even with
I think so.
Barnes as inconsistent as he's been in Huerter. Wow, what's up with Kevin Huerter? Well, the starters still as a unit have been effective.
Yeah, and what the frustrating part of the season is it doesn't feel that way. Even now, Malik Monk has to be starting. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. The numbers indicate that 5-man unit with me. Like, if we just go by the analytics, De'Aaron Fox shouldn't be starting in terms of a 5-man unit.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that they're 20-13, multiple guys aren't playing up to their capabilities, that should be encouraging Kings fans.
Yeah.
Not necessarily as frustrating. I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing from these Kings.
It also shows that last year, as you know,
Yep.
they relied heavily on the starters and they got a lot of production out of them. This year, they were hoping the bench would be better, and they're still working on that.
It's still working
right?
on it. Yeah. It's still trying to find guys. And I, mentioned at the start of the season, I thought this bench could be one of the best in the NBA. It hasn't panned out like that. But just like Huerter, Barnes, the bench guys haven't been consistent either.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're 20-13.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's lots of reasons to be very hopeful here with the new year upon us. Yeah. After a big win like last night. In fact, when we come back, we'll tell you how the Kings were part of NBA history last night.
Okay.
Next year with the Drive Guys. Draper.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Plati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Hey, everybody, it's Kyle Draper, your boy Drapes for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now, if you've been on the fence about buying your first electric luxury car, it's time to get off the fence and go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I'm challenging you. Test drive any Mercedes-Benz fully electric car or SUV, and you will fall in love. In fact, my new Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV is out in the parking lot right now. You know, I had a Tesla before this, but once I got the Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, it felt like a brand new driving experience. It's on an entirely different level. Now, here's what I love about my EQS SUV. First of all, from the moment I sit in it, I feel like I'm stepping in a world of luxury. Plus, it's easy charging, and it has heated seats and cooling seats as well. It's an ultimate driving experience. I urge you, go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They're just 30 minutes from Sacramento. They're right off of I-5. Or, of course, you can always go online at mbofstockton.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Over the years, some of golf's best stories were about the legendary Ben Hogan. Tommy Bolt once said that Hogan was the only player he'd ever known to get an ovation on the practice tee. He said he saw Hogan playing practice rounds before a tournament where half the gallery was made up of other professionals. When Bolt was asked who was better, Jack Nicklaus or Ben Hogan, Bolt replied, "Well, I saw Nicklaus watch Hogan practice, but I never saw Hogan watch Nicklaus." That's a pretty definite answer. Hogan described the game of golf as a game of misses. He said, "The player who misses best is the one who's going to win." He believed that the first hole was the most important, saying, "Well, if you don't birdie the first hole, how can you expect to birdie them all?" Ben Hogan knew the value of positive thinking on the golf course. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports. Local 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
With your help, we've gotten a lot of good work done today. Kyle Draper has helped us get this whole Drive the Vote movement on track. Early results, all-star voting results have come out. Draper's to the point now where he says, I don't even think they're real. They're right? I mean, isn't that pretty much what you said?
It seems a little wacky. That's all. It's just a little wacky, some of these things.
Domas is
not even on there.
Top 10 among Western Conference front court players, and De'Aaron Fox is 8th. But among other things, we've come up with, of course, we've got fans voting early and often, which is great. And Drapes had a great idea. We figured we got to do something with Taylor Swift. And Drapes, with his keen Taylor Swift knowledge, knew that De'Aaron Fox is a big Taylor Swift fan. So we're working on that connection. once we can establish even remotely, some kind of link there.
I got the idea. I got the idea, Sacramento. Whitey, I got the idea.
Here we go.
Jay, I got the idea.
Here we go.
I got my girl Simone back there. Simone, I got the idea. I said De'Aaron Fox is a big Taylor Swift fan. He likes Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Why not a campaign put on by the Sacramento Kings where De'Aaron Fox is getting ready to come to a game? Just got out the shower. Obviously, you ain't showing anything.
Wow. Interesting you go there, but okay.
But he got the hairbrush in his hand, and he's singing some Taylor Swift lyrics.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden, Rasay walks in. De'Aaron, it's time to go. You got a game tonight. And then, you know what I mean? Like, we see him behind the scenes, like he's into Taylor Swift. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got to go put in work. And then we cut to him running on the floor and then dropping 43 against somebody or something like that. See, you see what I'm talking?
Just don't give it to him.
I know. I just gave him
call your
cream.
bosses, man. You got to call them over there and tell them.
I thought Taylor Swift was going to make an appearance at some
Nah,
point.
we don't have that connection.
Oh,
We got to get in line for that.
If you just have De'Aaron singing one of her songs, is that going to help?
I think that's going to help,
man. You know, Taylor Swift moves needles around these parts.
Moves needles, man.
Well,
Anything.
then he should be playing one of her. Doesn't he play piano?
All right, they play piano then.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Whatever it is. And then if she could somehow make a cameo,
Clutch Sports got that juice.
Exactly, you're right. They know it. Hey, Rich Paul's dating Adele. They got to know who Taylor Swift is. Yes.
That's juice.
Yeah.
Man.
Then you watch what happens to the voting.
That's
De'Aaron
Fox.
Oh, that box will fall off.
That has to happen.
Yeah.
If I'm Sacramento, the Kings, I'm telling you, that has to happen. That's a way to market our guy, De'Aaron Fox, because you need a new audience. Think about it. My daughter, who's 11, had no idea who Travis Kelce was. Now, all of a sudden, she's a Chiefs fan.
Right.
Not because of Kelce, but because Taylor Swift is now a Chiefs fan. See? So that's how you got to do it.
What about, can we get a Jenner or a Kardashian or something? We got to go. I like where you're going with it, Drake. I like where you're going with
Baby
it, man.
steps, one thing at a time.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and with Kim, man, you got those Jenners got like 4 or 5 teams. You know what I mean? Like,
Listen, if Chris Humphreys can accomplish the feat, I'm sure De'Aaron could get some love. From
We're Tristan Thompson when you need him, right?
Yeah.
We bring
Former
back Tristan
team.
Thompson. Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk to Gary, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Gary.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
What's up,
Hey.
man?
Yeah, I think a lot of these things have potential, but the reality to me is we're not going to get respect unless we get into the second or third round of the playoffs. And I don't see how we're going to do that without a power forward. I mean, I just don't think that, Barnes is a power forward. He's been thrust into that role. It almost got Malone fired because he wouldn't put him in small forward. He was always more productive as a small forward. And I just don't think Keegan's, big enough to play power forward. So I think we got to get rid of Barnes. We got to find a power forward, or we're never going to get further.
I think it was Jaeger you're thinking of. I don't think Malone had Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
I get the point. But I mean,
That's a good point, though, Whitey. Let me say this.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll bring this up. Were they a power forward away from advancing last year against the Warriors?
No,
that's what I'm saying. So I don't think that's
accurate.
holding them back, from advancing to the second round or anything like that. And I don't think advancing in the playoffs is going to help you. I mean, it will, but Tyrese ain't advanced in the playoffs before.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't had a great playoffs. Hasn't been to the playoffs. Şengün ain't been in the playoffs. I'm looking at Kyrie Irving. They missed out on the playoffs last year. John Morant in Memphis, one of the worst teams in the NBA this year. And so I get it. You earn respect. I think that's more among the media, those in the league. I'm talking about popularity with the fans right now. What can we do?
Mm-hmm. By the way, last night, tremendous game. And maybe Gary's talking about the fact that, among other things, Paulo went off for 43 last night. Maybe Gary's saying we didn't really have anybody who could defend him. And Harrison Barnes is sometimes, anyway, playing a little out of position. But overall, he's doing a solid job there. But anyway, last night, out of the 24 teams on the NBA's slate of games last night, 10 of them, 24 teams playing last night, 10 scored 130 or more. We had 2 at Golden State.
Wow.
Most on a single night in NBA history. Of those 10, 8 scored more than 135. 5 teams in the NBA last night scored more than 140 points. Those are both records for one night. And it was also the first night in NBA history where 4 games featured teams that both scored 130 or more. I mean, it was crazy last night. Teams are scoring points.
4 games of 102 teams. Wow.
Yeah.
That Pistons Jazz game, 154-148, one overtime.
Yeah.
Bucks Pacers, 142-130. Thunder Hawks. How about the Hawks beating the Thunder last night? 141-138.
So
what do we make of that?
What we make of it is don't worry about the defense. Nobody's playing defense. It can't be done.
You're right. And I was watching ESPN and Brian Windhorst brought it up. Denver was 15th last year in defense. You just can't be bottom 20, bottom 10 defensively.
Right.
Middle of the pack, you can get it done. Really, how you win is with an elite offense, which Denver had last season.
Right.
And so you're right.
It doesn't seem to mean what it used to mean, but you're
It doesn't.
right. You can't be just if you have, and the Kings have been guilty of this at times this year. If you just can't get a stop when you need it, you're just not going to win many games.
Yeah. You know what? This bothers the heck out of me. And I'm sorry to derail us. I'm watching Milwaukee, San Antonio right now.
Yeah.
And I said this when the Kings played the Spurs. David Robinson is at the game. He's sitting in row 2, the second row. That's David freaking Robinson. He should be courtside right in the middle. I'm sorry. That bothers. That's the Admiral. He brought you a championship.
He's in the second row.
You got him in the
courtside.
No. First row got to be courtside. Second row, you can't be behind Joe Schmo, the dry cleaner who's in the front row just because he got to dry. This is David. David Robinson should be courtside, mid-court every single game.
Where is he? Where is he on here?
He's
We're watching here.
Hold on.
He was in the second row.
Go to Drapes and Straighter.
I mean, he was the second row, behind the bench, second row.
Yeah.
Come on,
so
man.
Kind of foul line extended.
That bothers me. That bothers the heck out of me.
You need him to extend his legs.
That's David Robinson, bro. Like 50 Cent come here. He's courtside mid order. 50 Cent just coming in for a quick visit. That's David Robinson.
He's got to deal with the organization, sir.
I think even C-Web in Atlanta was courtside.
Yeah, C-Web was courtside. And he didn't even play for the Hawks. They got David Robinson sitting in coach seating right now. They ain't even got him in business class. He ain't coach.
Row 2's not terrible.
It's not terrible. But that's David Robinson. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I know I digress, but that upset. That's David Robinson. That's like going to Boston and you got Larry Bird in second row, or coming here to Sacramento. When they come here, C-Web is sitting, behind the basket somewhere. So that's David Robinson.
Where does Brad Miller sit when he's here all the
He's
time?
front row.
He's front row.
Brad Miller's front row. I've seen Peja front row.
Yeah.
Vlade front row. And David Robinson is second row.
We'll have to find out what's on there.
Yo, I'm serious about that.
He
That
did
bothers
somebody
me.
wrong, or what happened?
Yeah, they wouldn't do that to Tim Duncan, I tell you that.
Oh, no.
Come on, man. That's
Tony
David
Parker
Robinson.
be front row.
Tony Parker,
Manu.
Ginobili. Dude, what are we doing?
Bruce Bowen get the front row
Right,
action.
Bruce Bowen, Sean Elliott. You know what I mean? Doc Rivers come back for a day here, Doc, courtside. But David Robinson, who started it all, really.
Yes, he did.
I'm sorry, that bothers me.
Maybe all the front rows were taken and he just came in town for a day or something.
Nah, man, no, because he was there during the Kings game when I was there.
We'll reach
and
out
I
to him.
noticed
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We'll see if he's okay with it. We'll help him too.
What seat is he in again?
We are
He in
writing
the second
wrongs
row,
today.
Jay. He in coach class. You know what I mean? He ain't even in business select. He ain't even in business. He in coach class. And he in the seat right next to the bathroom on the airplane. There was that one row that's right across. That's where David Robinson is. That's where they got him. That's terrible.
Live Nation has teamed up with Sactown Sports for your chance to check out the hilarious Anthony Jeselnik at Hard Rock Sacramento next Friday, January 12th. For more information, visit SactownSports.com. So we have a pair of tickets to see Anthony Jeselnik. You can be caller number
4.
Caller 4 right now in honor of the great Chris Webber. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, and win. Thank you for
That is
listening.
hilarious. I'm just back here dying, man.
Sorry, man. I just saw it, and he's all up there smiling, happy. I'm like,
He was
David,
the
you better
second row.
flex your muscle, yo. Serious, that's David Robinson, bro. What are we? That's like Allen Iverson coming back to Philly. AI, yeah, we're gonna put you over here, in the tunnel area, and have you sit there right here. Right.
Okay, if you had courtside seats and he was behind you, would you flip him?
I'd kick out whoever I was with.
No, you.
No, I'm not leaving my seats out. No, I'm not.
Man, it's first class over there, man.
I got some of my boys or something. Yo, y'all gonna have to make room. I'm sitting next to the Admiral tonight. Yeah, I'm not putting Admiral in second row.
Real fast. Whitey, are you giving up your seat?
No.
Okay, thank you. You're not even let me finish.
Hey, but if me and you went to a game and it's my tickets, Jay, you gotta understand, right, yo.
So
you want to sit up next
personally,
to me.
you would go to David.
Heck yeah. No, I wouldn't go back.
Oh, okay.
I tell him to come up and take your spot.
Give your seat to him. He's giving your seat to the Admiral.
And that's 100% truth, man.
He's
That's
asking you to understand.
That's David Robinson.
What's the commercial now where the hostess is asking the young lady? She's like, "Can I get some water?" Have you seen that?
Oh yeah,
and she's like, "Yeah." The business person,
right.
and like, what was that? Key? Peel from Key and Peel, or Jordan Peel, whatever. He turned around with the sandwich. That's how
it is.
That's how Drapes is doing this.
Seriously, Magic Johnson ain't doing that. He's sitting second row.
He's in the box.
Come on, man, David Robinson.
We'll find out.
That's disrespectful, man.
Why Mike Brown apologized to Malik Monk when we come right back and down the home stretch.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
This is Jeff Scott. Did you know there's a way to outsmart COVID if you get it? Now, there are medicines that can treat COVID whether or not you've been vaccinated, which is great news, especially if you're over 50. If taken in the first 5 days of having symptoms, COVID medicines can help stop the illness from getting serious. Call a healthcare provider or the statewide COVID hotline at 833-422-4255 to learn more about COVID medicines. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
David Robinson is sitting in the second row. The Spurs are playing Milwaukee on TNT, and Drapes noticed it, I guess, when the Kings were there.
Yeah,
that David Robinson was the second row. And Drapes ain't having it. He's furious.
David Robinson built that place. He built that franchise. Put some respect on David Robinson. That'd be like going to Atlanta and Dominique Wilkins is sitting second row. Like, this is the face of your franchise. And maybe he wants to be in the second row. I don't know.
Maybe.
But that's Bush League, in my opinion. That's, what? David Robinson should be able to sit wherever. If David Robinson want to sit mid-court, feet on the floor, he should be able to do it. I dare somebody to tell David Robinson to move.
But if you had two seats in front and David Robinson's behind you, you're giving up, and Jay was with you. You were making Jay move.
Oh, yeah.
The Admiral can sit with you.
You know what we would do? I say, Jay, I got the first half next to the Admiral. You got the second half.
Oh, well, that's
so.
okay.
I'm respect that. Exactly.
Nice.
So we both can have that experience. Like, there is no way. I don't care how much money you have in the world. You should have better seats than David Robinson in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Unless you're the owner of the team. That's the only person that's allowed to have better seats than David Robinson.
General manager.
No.
Okay.
General manager. Come on, man. No offense, Bonnie McNair, but I'm not giving you better seats than C-Web when he comes. C-Web is front, center, front court. He ain't in no second row.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with David. That's David Robinson. What are we doing, San Antonio?
Center court, as we said, in Atlanta.
Exactly. He had the kids too. It wasn't just him. He had the twins up there with him. Like, they know how to treat you. San Antonio got David Robinson stuck in coach.
We were at a Kings game about 10 years ago, and somehow we ended up like second row, and they were playing Memphis. Allen Iverson was on Memphis. That's what I remember.
Oh, yeah, back then.
But we're sitting right behind Sharif Abdul-Rahim, who was with the Kings as a coach, or he was with the team. And my wife loved Sharif Abdul-Rahim, and to the point where she was like talking, that's Sharif, that's Sharif, that's
Really?
that's Sharif, that's Sharif. And I guess somebody, I don't know who it was, but somebody next to him was one of the coaches, like tapped him on the shoulder and said, you know, you got a fan behind you. And he like turned around and waved to her. And she was so excited.
Really?
But it was really cool that and all he did was like, hi. And she just,
Let me ask you this, though, because as I think about this David Robinson thing.
Yeah.
How was the view behind Sharif? Could you still see okay and everything? Maybe Admiral Robinson doesn't want to block the view of some people or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe, so I'm going to cut him some slack if that's the case.
Yeah. I think we were maybe a little bit elevated, and he was, he certainly wasn't sitting up high. He was kind of conscious of that. So
Okay.
that's a good point.
All right.
Do you remember the first NBA game you ever went to?
I remember my earliest NBA in-person memory. I don't know if that was my first game, but I do remember it. Yes. It was New York Knicks versus Philadelphia 76ers.
So you might have been going when you were really
young. I was young. Yeah,
Okay.
this was 80s, mid 80s. So I was like 10, something like that. And they had no, actually it was the Nets, the New Jersey Nets, when Bernard King was on the Nets.
Wow.
I believe it was. And I just remember this lady behind us saying, King, King, like she was trying to get his attention the whole game. I don't know if she's a fan. I don't know what it was, but I still have that memory in my mind. Bernard King, being serenaded by this lady, King, over here, King, Yeah, so that was back in the day.
Yeah. I went to a game. I was maybe 12, and a friend of mine we sat like really close. It was in Oakland, and it was the Warriors, Rick Barry and Jamal Wilkes, and they were playing Philly. And when you're that close, the sounds and the players talk, and that's like, I remember being at a game where Jamal Wilkes was Tommy Nunes, the official, and he did something. He goes, "Oh, Tommy, my bad," and just hearing that stuff is like,
really,
whoa,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Tommy, my first name basis, right?
Yeah. It's like that's really cool. The sounds of
cool.
it being that close.
That is cool. And I had an opportunity Christmas Day back in Boston. My mom and dad came up. They got first row tickets to Sixers Celtics. I was able to score some nice tickets, first or second row. And they just could not believe how big Embiid, like the players, it's a different ball game when you're that up close to those guys.
Yeah. I remember being baseline with Shaq, and I think it was like he was on Boston by that time, but still it's like, oh my goodness.
Shaq is
he's huge.
He's like a solar eclipse, right? He's like, walks and he blocks the sun and everything. Yeah.
What the heck happened between Malik Monk and Mike Brown? We know that they had some kind of back and forth, and it was still a topic yesterday. And then Malik, of course, had a great game, 37 points. And after the great game he had, Malik Monk was asked about whatever that was, the back and forth between he and his coach. And here's the way Malik explained it. Here's Malik Monk. Here's Malik Monk on what happened.
I always got extra motivation, man, when I step on the court. But yeah, man, me and Mike go at it all the time. That's not our last time, probably. So yeah, that was nothing. That's just us being competitors and heating the moment. So that wasn't really anything. And yeah, man, I always come in with a chip on my shoulder. So that's nothing new.
And the thing about Malik, that as we mentioned, is so cool is, he doesn't sit there and like, well, let me tell you. He's like,
have a prepared answer. Yeah.
Like, boom, there you are.
He just calls it like, just whatever he says, that's what he's feeling at that time. Yes.
Yeah. And then here was Mike Brown talking about his view of the pregame meeting he had with Malik.
Malik, and I said this to him, I did not think Malik had a good game last night. Okay. But he said this to me, and I love our relationship because we're open and honest, and we look each other in the eye, and we don't take anything personal. He started the game off slow, and I didn't say anything to him. I just took him out the game. So I didn't do a good job coaching Malik last night. And so when before our walkthrough today, I called him to my office and I said, Malik, I got to look you in your eye and I got to apologize to you because I didn't do a good job coaching you last night. And I said, I'm not apologizing for sitting you on the bench, okay, now because you didn't play well. I said, but I'm apologizing to you for not coaching you last night the way that I should have. And he said, no, I appreciate that. And then he goes, I got to play better. And he goes, I won't look at you like that again next time neither. So I said, hey, you know what? You can look at me how you want. I said, I also may not coach you the right way down the stretch again, but if anything like that happens, we need to sit down like two grown-ups and look each other in the eye and figure out what happened and make sure that we move forward while not taking anything personal. So he's a hell of a player, but he's a great person too. And I'm fortunate. Not only am I fortunate, but I also enjoy coaching him because almost everything he says is real, and you appreciate that.
I think that's a great example of a coach making sure everyone knows I'm in charge here, but all right, I understand there. I could have been better. I mean, that's right. I mean, you don't hear a lot of coaches say, I apologize to the player, but he did it without really, losing any of his authority or seeming weak.
And he did it behind scenes, closed door. Like Mike Brown said, they talked man to man, adult to adult, and that's how you handle it. And that only, it's interesting, Whitey. I'll talk about my personal life for a little bit. Throughout my life, I've tried to avoid conflict, keep things to myself. Don't say anything when things bother me. And I've learned, especially over this last year or so, that the way relationships become stronger, the way bonds become stronger, it's going through tough, difficult conversations, having that. And that's what you're seeing from Mike Brown and Malik Monk. This isn't the first time that they've blown up at each other. We saw it in practice before. Frankie mentioned it earlier. But yet, you can tell Mike Brown loves Malik Monk. And vice versa. I see it behind the scenes. Those two are always needling each other, whether it's hopping on the bus, Malik Monk yelling at Mike Brown, Mike, you late, you got to pay the fine. They have that special relationship and bond. And I give credit to both for handling it the way they did, because it could have spiraled into something. Mike Brown realized he had made a mistake. He was the bigger person in terms of admitting his mistake. You know what? I didn't coach Malik the way that I should. And so I think that just only strengthens their bond. And these are the kind of moments you have to have throughout a season, I think, if you want to advance to win a championship.
And then Malik responded with a huge game. And then let's face it, Mike Brown made what seemed at the time like the obvious choice, but I'm sure wasn't easy down the stretch of a close game to run the offense through. Hey, Malik needs the ball now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I wonder too, we'll never know this, but if Mike Brown doesn't have that conversation with Malik Monk, does Malik have the kind of game? What if he let it fester, didn't address it? Maybe Malik's still upset in his feelings about it. You just never know. And so, great job by both of them for addressing the issue at hand and moving forward from it.
When we come back, the NBA has fined a team for managing their load. Next, Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis. Put the frosting on the cake. Put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo, with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now, starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, get a free T-check and free exam. Book your appointment today at Revive Sacramento. We know we can help you. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Got somewhere to be? Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Granger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Psst, hey, Mark, remember, getting help from Progressive is so easy. You can use the mobile app, chat with us online, or call us.
And you pick now to tell me.
I couldn't miss Little Grace's ballet recital. Oh, thanks for inviting me, by the way.
Did I?
Because you know I'm always here for you.
Yeah. I can use the mobile app if I need help. Sorry, you're in my wife's seat, though?
Oh, yeah, I gotta go anyway. Tell Grace she nailed her chassé.
Get the help you need from Progressive with our mobile app, online chat, or over the phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't.
Right.
Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Hey everybody, it's Kyle Draper, your boy Drapes for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now, if you've been on the fence about buying your first electric luxury car, it's time to get off the fence and go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I'm challenging you. Test drive any Mercedes-Benz fully electric car or SUV, and you will fall in love. In fact, my new Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV is out in the parking lot right now. You know, I had a Tesla before this, but once I got the Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, it felt like a brand new driving experience. It's on an entirely different level. Now, here's what I love about my EQS SUV. First of all, from the moment I sit in it, I feel like I'm stepping in a world of luxury. Plus, it's easy charging, and it has heated seats and cooling seats as well. It's an ultimate driving experience. I urge you, go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They're just 30 minutes from Sacramento. They're right off of I-5. Or, of course, you can always go online at mbofstockton.com.
Discover your next adventure. Buy the latest gear and meet the experts at the International Sportsman's Expo. Your life outdoors, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
How about this? You know, we've got Drapes the Vote here, Kyle Draper, spearheading our efforts to get more votes, all-star votes for Domas and De'Aaron Fox. The early returns puzzlingly low for the Kings. We have this from I Love My Life on the chat. All-star votes count triple on the following days, January 5th, January 12th, January 15th, January 19th. So there you go, Drake.
So tomorrow is a triple day. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll have to keep that in mind. Cousin Pete's is my first NBA game, Chicago versus Kings in 91. My dad worked at the airport, met Jordan and the team when they got off the plane.
Oh, now that's cool. That's a cool. I thought you were going to say Campio with his first game being, Bill Russell's first game or something like, something crazy like that. I would like to know Campio's first game, to be honest with him, if he's still listening. It's probably, like I said, Kareem's first game or something like that.
Manny, too legit. Whitey and Drapes, how y'all feeling about Fox's game for the past two games? Second last game, he seemed a little off from the 3-line yesterday. He was pretty off. Think he just needs some rest? Question mark. Manny, too legit with a question?
Yeah, rest as in taking games off? No. Resting last night was the second night of a back-to-back, and he clearly didn't have his legs. I'm not going to, say it was more than that. In that Charlotte game, sure, 11 of 25, 3 of 10. I think what we need to see from De'Aaron Fox has less to do with him and more to do with his teammates. We got to take some of the load off this guy, and I thought yesterday was a first start with that, with Malik Monk stepping up, Keegan Murray, but Keegan has to be more consistent too. And that takes some of the wear and tear, some of the load off De'Aaron Fox. Remember, he played 38 minutes the night before that Charlotte game, then backed it up with 44 minutes. He just looked gassed out there. And so fortunately, you got a game Friday. You're off Saturday, early game Sunday, but then it really gets tough. I think, we're gone 10 days and we have 5 games in 10 days. So basically every other day it's a game. That's going to be a tough stretch for De'Aaron and the rest of the team.
I don't know if this is anything, but I know last night after the game when Malik was asked about picking up the slack, he said, and it was just, he mentioned it as a kind of hypothetical, like, De'Aaron's going to have games sometimes where he's got, bruised this or that or something's bothering him. Now, did De'Aaron have something?
Did he have something?
What Malik was alluding to? I have no reason to think that, but it did get me thinking a little bit. But let me ask you this, because I was just reading recently about Isaiah Thomas, and Isaiah Thomas, the first one, Pistons. It's the point guard position has changed so much, right? It's evolved. And he was saying, when I started a game with the Pistons, first I would, before I got myself going, I would check and try to get some of my teammates going and trying to see, all right, who do I need to get going? Who's hot? And point guards don't do that anymore, right? No. I mean, it's not really part of the job. Because I was thinking, wow, that'd be great if De'Aaron's like, oh, let's get Keegan going or whatever. But first of all, the offense goes through Domas. And second of all, that's just not really De'Aaron Fox's responsibility the way it used to be a point guard's job, is it?
No, not at all. And now point guards, you got to get buckets.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the best point guards in the NBA right now. I'm looking at the leaders. Luka, 33.7. Shea, 31.4. Fox, 29.4. Trey, Steph. And so when you look at, the scoring leaders in the NBA, as I go back to the top 10 right here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the top 10 are point guards. One's a center. One's a shooting guard. And you got 2 power forwards and 1 small forward. So the point guard position is the dominant scoring position in the NBA right now.
And all those guys with very high usage rates, right?
High usage rate. And to define usage, it's the rate at which you directly impact the final play of a possession.
It means you got the ball all
You
the time.
got the ball, whether it leads to a basket, it leads to a turnover, it leads to a free throw, it leads to a missed shot. You're the guy that's directly, if it's not taking the shot, it's like the hockey assist almost. And so, and Luka, Shea, they got the ball in their hands. De'Aaron, Trey Young, all these, Steph Curry, all these guys got the ball in their hands.
It's not their job to try to get their teammates going.
Not as much anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And, you look at Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard's a bucket getter as well. I would argue Tyrese is probably, Jalen Brunson even is a bucket getter. Tyrese is probably the only, and if you want to throw James Harden in that category, yes, but the only point guard that's really out to get big, high assist numbers. Most point guards, they're looking to get buckets, man.
We knew that would be an issue this year when we found out that the NBA was going to be fining teams for violating the player participation policy. Well, the Nets have been fined. The NBA announced today it has fined the Nets $100,000 for violating the player participation policy. The league investigated this incident, and Brooklyn, apparently they sat 4 players: Spencer Dinwiddie, rest; Dorian Finney-Smith, left knee soreness; Cam Johnson, right knee sprain/injury maintenance; and Nick Claxton for the game. They lost. Then apparently the league looked into it, and they had doctors who determined, some of those guys were healthy enough to play under the medical standard in the player participation policy, and the Nets got fined $100,000.
Now, was this the game where they only played guys like the first quarter, or did they just rest them totally? Because there was a game the Brooklyn Nets had where their starters played like the first quarter, first few minutes, and then they sat down. And, to keep Bridges' streak alive, he has this games played streak. And so do we know specifically which game it was?
Yeah, I believe you're correct. Let's see. They lost to the Bucks on the second out of a back-to-back after beating Detroit the night before. Also, Jacques Vaughn did not play Bridges, Cam Thomas, or Royce O'Neal after the first quarter.
Yeah, there you go, right there. Now, that's bogus, right? Like, you can't be doing that if you're the Nets. I understand wanting to get guys rest and everything like that. Would you rather have it that way or sit them out totally if you could have your druthers there? Whitey, let me ask you,
Now, who am I? I'm the team, or I'm a fan?
You're a fan. Would you rather see them at least for a quarter and then have them sit, or just know when you walk in the building, you know what, they're not going to beat it?
I'd rather see him play a quarter, but still I'd feel cheated.
Yeah.
If it's like, they were just making a token appearance.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. It's neither instance is a good one. And as far as from a fan's perspective, And so, I get it.
Yeah. And real quick, one more note on Domas. He became last night just the 3rd player in the Sacramento era to post a 20-10-10 triple-double. Only Chris Webber and DeMarcus Cousins, who did it twice in 2015, have done that 20-10-10. And over the last 3 games, he's averaging 21 rebounds after 3 straight 19-plus rebound performances. And yet he can't get into the top 10 in Western Conference front court vote game.
So what you're saying is, Kings fans, let's go out there and vote for our guys.
Yeah.
Let's get our guys in the second round of returns. They both should be in the top 10, and for Fox, top 5, as far as I'm concerned.
Only other NBA player to post a 20-20-10 line this season is Jokic. That's going to do it for tonight. We're back with you tomorrow from the Golden One.
Yes.
Get ready for the Raptors. We've got golf to go coming up, and then we've got UC Davis basketball for you right here. Thanks for listening to Sactown Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, and fellow golfers, for your entertainment,
It's the Golf to Go